everybody's doing well. Make sure you can hear me okay. Yes, you can. All right, good. Hey, I wanted to jump on today and just talk about whatever. There's a lot of stuff going on out there in YouTube land. A lot of things you don't expect to see in YouTube land. A lot of information about that terrible case. There's new cases coming out for the people who are doing true crime, that kind of thing. It's kind of shocking. I tell you one thing I've learned. I've changed my opinion. I've changed my opinion on Elizabeth Ciders, and I'll tell you why. Whenever I saw the story, hang on. Whenever I saw that story about truancy, I was like, They started running because her kids weren't going to school. She knew better. She knew better. So I am not really thinking she's a victim as much anymore. Could she be a sort of a victim? She could be sort of a victim, but I don't think she's the big victim like it was first put out. And then you're learning about all the other things going on in that family, and you're like, okay, this is like something that's been going on for years about these people getting married early. Look at the story about the uncle. I believe that Gary Ciders Jr.'s uncle kind of did the same thing. I saw that on another channel. I've all kinds of weird things going on out there. But another thing that I think is kind of strange that's going on is we talked about this last week, and that's Wendi Adelson. Are they coming for Wendi Adelson? You know, are they looking to charge her as well? I'm gonna pull something up, and this is from the Wendi Adelson. This is from Donna Adelson's trial, and this is going to be from Law and Crime. And I want to listen to a little bit of her testimony because I want to know if she says anything that makes you look at her differently than we looked at her before. Because I just don't think that there's any way that her mother, let me share my screen. I don't think there's any way that her mother and her brother did this or her family did this and she didn't know anything about it. There's just no way. I don't think you can hide something so big from the mama. I just don't think it happened that way. I really am starting to think, hey, Cinderella, so good to see you, girlfriend. I decided to jump on today and just talk about whatever came to my mind. How you doing? You doing okay? It's pouring down rain here. It's just, actually, there's been some serious flooding over in San Antonio. Let's look at that real quick, and then we'll get back on to Wendi Adelson. I want to talk about Wendi Adelson a little bit today, too. I just want to talk about all kinds of things that's going on YouTube that I've noticed. I'm like, okay, things are changing a little bit. The algorithm's different as well. We've noticed that, too. We go to the flooding in San Antonio. It is bad. It was not expected. Hang on. In fact, a tornado ripped through there, and that is just not common at all. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Okay. Let me see if I can pull this up. Look at this possible tornado. Multiple roads closed due to flooding. Possible tornado. This was 5 hours ago, and this is going to be from the San Antonio. Here we go. You get fair use in here. Okay. This is San Antonio News. Here we go. I think there's a different station name, but I'm just going to call it that for right now. But see that right there? You see that twister? Look at the flooding. This is not normal for San Antonio, Texas. Not normal at all. Look at that. It came so fast. It really did. It was not expected at all. Look, I didn't even spell it right. I'm silly, right? Yeah, that's a lot of water. God dang it. All right. Possible tornadoes over in San Antonio. Oh my, I wonder which part, I wonder if downtown flooded. Probably not, I don't know, let me see. Let's go back over here. All right, let's go back over here, guys. Okay, so in a minute, I'm gonna pull up Wendi Adelson and we're gonna discuss Wendi Adelson and will she be charged? Because again, I've changed my mind so many times on so many of these cases, so many different cases. Wendi Adelson's one of them, because I am starting to believe that she did know about this. I don't believe there's any way that Charles and Donna could have done this without the old man and Wendi knowing about it. I just don't think so. You know, when they bought the one-way tickets to talk to Vietnam, or wherever they were, when they bought the one-way tickets for airplane tickets, he had to ask, why didn't you buy a round trip? Because he knows why they didn't buy a round trip already, right? Right. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, working and listening. Okay, Cinderella, that's cool. I'm just going to talk about whatever comes to my mind because it's pouring down rain. There's really nothing we can do. And I was like, God, I'm so bored. I want to get on here and talk about something, but I don't really have a show planned. So I thought, well, let's get over here and talk about this one. So let me pull up Wendy Adelson and we're going to look at her testimony. It is right here. Let's see. And I've got to find it again. I had it right there. Let's see. I believe that it's from Law and Crime. Here we go. We'll put this up here.
Just a second.
And we give full credit to Law and Crime, and we'll get on it. Okay. And crime. All right. Make sure I spelled it proper. Sometimes I just don't spell it. Okay. Law and Crime. Okay, here we go. Put this over here, and we're going to watch a little bit of this testimony from Wendi Adelson. Oh, I don't like how big that looks right there. Let me see if I can change that. No, not that. Right here. Put it like this. There we go. That's better. All right. We're going to start this playing. Here we go. And this is again Law and Crime.
Please state your name and spell your name.
This is Wendi Adelson.
Wendi Adelson, WENDI-ADELSON.
Ms. Adelson, where are you from?
I'm from Coral Springs, Florida.
And you live in another state now currently, right?
I do, yes, ma'am.
All right. How are you
I don't think I can
employed?
make that any
I'm an
smaller.
immigration attorney
How long have you been an attorney?
since 2006.
And you're here pursuant to a state subpoena, is that correct?
Yes,
And that subpoena confers a type of immunity on you. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay. Which means that nothing you say here in court pursuant to that subpoena can be used against you at a later time. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean you could never be prosecuted. It just means that what you say in court could not be used in any future prosecution. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Now think about those words right there. She's an attorney. She has limited immunity right here because she's testifying. But they're also telling her, but what you say today is not going to be used against you in some future prosecution. Well, then how are they going to prosecute her? I want you to think about that. Because everything she's talking about, she would be talking about again. If they decided to charge her, she'd be talking about the same things. So I don't know how it would work. I don't know that they're ever going to charge her. I know they can, but I don't know if they ever will. Let's keep listening for a few minutes.
About your ex-husband, Daniel Markel. Is that a fair and accurate photo of Mr. Markel?
Yes.
When did you meet him?
I'm going to speed this up.
We met originally online. It must have been the fall of my first year of law school, so 2003.
Okay. And when did you marry?
What a shame.
We married in February of 2006.
Were you living in Tallahassee at some point as a married couple?
Yes.
When did you move to Tallahassee?
We moved to Tallahassee my final year of law school, so that would have been in the summer of 2005. And we were here from 2005 till 2006. We spent a year at the University of Miami from 2006 to 2007, and then came back to Tallahassee from 2007 until 2014.
All right. And during the time that you were living here in Tallahassee, did you live over on Trescott Drive?
For some of the time that we lived here, yes.
And when your first child was born, were you residing at the Trescott Drive residence at that point?
Yes.
Okay. I think I have a photo of that here. Is that the Trescott Drive residence?
Yes.
And how many children did you have with Mr. Markel?
We have 2 children.
What were their ages at the time of their father's death?
It was 10 days before my older son's 5th birthday, so he was 4 turning 5, and our younger son was 3.5. The boys are 14 months apart.
And did there come a time when you and Mr. Markel separated?
Yes.
When was the separation?
It was in the fall of 2012.
Whose decision was it to separate?
It was mine.
How did your ex take that news?
Well, we talked about it many times before it actually happened, but when the separation became official, he was very upset.
And even though there were problems and issues and discussions, it was a surprise to him when it actually happened, right?
It was.
Okay. And was part of the reason for the separation your differing views on how to raise the kids pursuant to the Jewish faith?
I'd say it was a very small part, but it was a part.
And remember last time I talked about her, I had mentioned something about the Jewish faith. That I now remembered why, because he was Jewish and they were having issues about them being raised in the Jewish faith. Now I do remember this. I think I did watch this before. Okay, but we're going to keep watching. Here we go. Here we go. I just don't know how Charles and Donna could have done all of this with all these people and she didn't know a damn thing about it. I just don't believe it. Here we go.
Did you consider your ex to be a religious zealot?
No, I didn't think he was a religious zealot, but I did think he was using religion as a way of controlling me.
Okay, did you think he was more devout in his faith than you were?
I don't know that, I feel like devoutness has to do with maybe a relationship with God, and I don't know that his was more strong than mine, but he was more observant of kosher rules than I was.
Okay, can you explain for the jury what those imply? For those of us
Sure.
that don't know?
So keeping kosher has to do with separating milk from meat, something like you can't eat a cheeseburger. And it has to do with the ritual way that animals are killed. So certain meats would be considered kosher or non-kosher. And then things like shellfish are not allowed or pork would not be allowed. And so his beliefs changed over time. We used to have bacon and then bacon became a no later on.
All right, and those rules were something that he was wanting to impose on the children, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and you were less interested in those kosher rules?
it was less important to me.
All right, were both you and Mr. Markel raised within the Jewish faith?
We were, yes.
Oh, okay.
Can you,
So that is something I did not realize that Wendy also grew up Jewish. That is new to me. Now I kind of understand a little bit more. All right, here we go.
separated from Mr. Markel, did you move out of the marital home while he was on a business trip?
I did, yes.
Oh.
Where did you go
She
when
ran
you left the
away.
marital home?
I went to another property that I had rented for the boys and me.
Was that at 3303 Aqua Ridge Way?
Yes,
Was that located in Leon County?
yes.
What was the custody arrangement? Broad terms are fine for this time frame during the separation.
I think we were just trying to figure out how to make it work. We didn't have any formal custody arrangement at that time. I remember his parents came to town that weekend and I made sure that he had the boys that weekend. We were just trying to figure out how to make it work until we had something formal.
Was the arrangement roughly 50-50 or something else?
It would have been roughly 50-50.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to think about this too, though. She just said, oh no, he's on a business trip and I went and rented something and we just moved out while he was gone. He comes home to an empty house. But we kind of talked about this. No, I think you blindsided him when you did that. That's what I think happened here because you took advantage of the fact that he was not going to be home. That was a sneaky thing to do, I think. Here we go.
And were you mixing it up during the week or was it a week on, week off situation?
It wasn't week on, week off. We didn't settle into that until the first summer, or maybe the second summer. I don't remember. That was more of a summer arrangement. But it was 50-50 and definitely a mix during the week.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to publish what's been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 60. Your petition. Was your mom, Donna Adelson, involved at all in drafting your divorce documents?
No,
Did she ever make any edits to any of the filings that you made pursuant to your divorce?
I think she made suggestions, but I had an attorney, a very good attorney helping me through the process. So she wasn't editing legal documents.
Did you ever forward any of your mom's suggestions to your lawyer?
I probably did.
And when you did that, would you attribute them to your mom or would you just forward them along without noting whether they were your questions or your mom's questions?
I honestly don't remember.
Was this a contentious?
See, I think she does remember. I think that her meddling, this is the meddling Meemaw, if y'all don't know that. That is what Donna Adelson is. I call her the meddling Meemaw. And if you're taking suggestions from the meddling Meemaw and you're sending it to your attorney, but you're an attorney too, that's a little weird, don't you think? That is, again, Donna Adelson going too far. Yeah, which she's known to do, and that's why she's in prison.
Divorce?
It was.
Yeah.
As part of your divorce, did you file a petition to ask the court for permission to relocate to South Florida?
I did.
And I think that was your amended petition. Not sure if we can see that very well. Here we go. It says the wife also desires to relocate to South Florida in order to provide a better quality of life for the children by increasing their access to close family and providing more stability and consistency. Who was the close family that was available in South Florida for the boys?
My mom, my dad, and my brother.
Why did you want to move to South Florida?
I had very unstable employment in Tallahassee. I had a wonderful job, but it was on grant money. So year to year, I never knew if I would still have my job. I had a job offer that was very good in South Florida. And the assumption was that Danny was always going to be at a different school, a better school. He used to joke that he would take 1 bar exam for every 2 bar exams that I had to take while we moved around the country. And so it seemed like a way of having stability while he was climbing up the law professor ladder to be ultimately at Harvard or Yale.
And was relocation important to you?
It was, in terms of having a safe and stable place for my kids.
Did you consider?
You know, that's so strange. I mean, I know that a lot of times they work through grants to do this, that, and the other, but an immigration attorney would never have a hard time getting a job. Think about that, especially in Florida. Yes, okay, girlie. But I don't think that children should ever be taken away from, so far away from the father. I think if you decide to divorce, you and your children, and it's none of my business, and I know that, but I think the children need to have access to their father, equal time with their father, and equal time with their mother, if it can be worked out that way, because that's the healthiest environment for a child. Taking them 6-hour drive away or 5-hour drive away, however far it was, and them only seeing their dad every once in a while, I don't think that was the right thing to do. I also would have denied her the right to move, to relocate them. I would have denied that as well. Yeah.
Having to live here in Tallahassee, being stuck, or had you referred to it previously as being stuck in Tallahassee?
I mean, I may have. The idea of being stuck is if you don't have permission to live anywhere you want to live, but I had a nice quality of life here.
Did you consider the worst case scenario to be that you would end up stuck here in Tallahassee if your petition was denied?
I don't know. I mean, at the time, I may have felt that way.
Okay. Might you have sent an email to a friend on March 24th of 2013 indicating, quote, "I do fear that the worst case scenario that could happen is that I will be stuck here in Tallahassee"?
It's possible that I sent that.
Would it refresh your recollection to review that item?
I'm happy to.
It's on tab 6 on one of those binders in front of you. Let me see.
This one.
You know what? You got to ask yourself, after both her brother and her mother are found guilty of planning the murder of her ex-husband, how does she feel about them? Does she still support them? Does she forgive them? How is she dealing with that? Because now she's got her children, and the children are now, I'm pretty sure they've asked all kinds of questions. And how do the children feel about the grandmother and the uncle being the one to take their father away from them? That's got to be incredibly hard, incredibly strange.
I see it's highlighted. So yes.
Okay. And did you also email a friend around the same time frame regarding life in Tallahassee couldn't compare to the life that you would be able to enjoy in South Florida with your brother Charlie and his boat and pool and hot tub and things like that?
It's certainly possible.
Okay, that's on tab 7. Please refresh your recollection.
Wait a minute. So her time on Charlie's boat, the hot tub, and all of these things was more important than these children having their father in their life. I want you to think about that statement right there.
Yes.
And in fact, didn't you use the word stuck in your actual motion for relocation? Let's see if we can get there. Here, the wife is merely stuck in Tallahassee until the husband decides that the time is right for him to leave.
So my attorney did write that, and that sounds right.
Did Tallahassee feel claustrophobic to you?
Well, at this point in time, Danny was making lots of unplanned announcements to my office where we work together. So I would see him at work I never knew when he was showing up. So I'm sure, this is 12 years ago that's how I felt at that time.
Okay. But outside of the context of your relationship with Dan Markel, did you ever express that just the smallness and slowness of Tallahassee made you feel claustrophobic?
I don't remember saying that.
Please refer to tab 8 to refresh your recollection. Yes, I can.
Reminder is on the witness stand, Ms. Cattleman is the defense and a copy of the same motion.
No, Your Honor. I'll show them the tab.
Please do.
Oh, wow, just taking pictures right there in the courtroom. That's a new one.
That's a dense one. Were you able to find it?
I did. I found it's part of a sentence. Can I read the whole sentence?
Sure.
Tallahassee feels claustrophobic at times, given its smallness and slowness, and the fact that my friends cycle through here with transient regularity. So yes, at that moment in time, that's how I was feeling in 2013.
And relocation was pending at the time that you were feeling that way in that moment, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And relocation was also very important to your mother, wasn't it?
Yes,
All right. And did you have some discussions with your mother about relocation?
I did.
And was that during that time frame when it was pending?
Yes,
Okay. And do you see your mother in the courtroom here today?
yes.
Could you please point her out and describe what she's wearing?
My mom is on right. I can't see her clothes from here, but she's directly across from me.
All right. Is she wearing a headset on her head?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
Record reflect.
Your mom didn't want you to be stuck in Tallahassee either, did she?
She did not.
She wanted the best for you, right?
She saw the best for me as not being in Tallahassee. Yes.
That's right. She referred to being in Tallahassee that you were a hostage and a prisoner, right?
Yes, she did.
Wow.
Oh no. Clickergate.
So think about what was just said right there. I know that old meddling Mima over there was saying negative things about Dan Markel in front of those children, even of course before they took him out, but before the divorce was. I'm sure she always said these things because she was not getting her way because her daughter was not moving down there where she could manage these kids, or her daughter did whatever she wanted to do because they sounded to me like they needed to have an exciting life instead of just being a mom raising a family, right? That's how it sounded to me. Here we go.
Continues.
Somebody's so calm about this.
Close enough. Did your mom express concerns that as a Tallahassee native, the judge presiding over your relocation motion would underestimate how much better it would be for you to live in South Florida?
She did.
All right, let me ask you a few questions about your parents. Your mom is Donna Adelson. Who's your dad?
My dad is Harvey Adelson.
All right. And where did your parents, I think you said they were in Coral Springs back in 2012?
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
right? Okay. How long had they lived in the Coral Springs area?
I was born there. So I think they started living there when my oldest brother was born. So since the early 70s.
So fair to say they had deep roots there in that area.
Yes.
Can you describe the relationship that your mom had with your kids during the time frame we're talking about? So separation to murder time frame?
It was very close. My mom taught my boys how to read. She taught them how to play chess. It was very close.
Were your parents employed during that time frame?
Yes.
What kind of work did they do?
My dad was a dentist and my mom was the office manager for the dental practice.
All right. And what about your brother, Charlie? Did he have a role there as well?
He was a periodontist. And so I believe at some point he purchased the practice. I don't remember what year that was. But he would sometimes work from my dad's office and sometimes work from other offices around South Florida.
Was the dental practice, the family dental practice, a successful business?
I believe it was. My family never discussed money or finances with me, but I believe it was doing well.
Did you discuss your marital problems and resulting legal issues with your mom?
I
Talk
did.
about relocation, but in general, you did talk about your woes with your mom?
I did.
Okay. And I think you said you did send many of your divorce pleadings to her. Is that right?
I did.
What about your dad? What was his role in reference to your divorce pleadings?
I don't remember exactly. My parents have a shared email, so when I send an email to one of them, I would send it, it was being sent to both, but I don't know who was reading what or at what time.
Is it fair to say they were both welcome to read whatever you sent to that email address?
Yes,
And both welcome to reply as well?
yes.
Who would reply more frequently, your mom or your dad? To those
My mom
types?
would reply more frequently.
Who took more of an interest in the day-to-day ins and outs of your litigation?
Probably my mom.
Okay. Is your mom overprotective of you?
Yes,
Is your mom an emotional person?
yes.
What about your dad? Is he emotional as well?
I think so.
Okay. Did you previously say he was more of a straight shooter and mom was more emotional?
I think so, but I think women tend to be more emotional and men tend to be less emotional.
Okay.
Before you continue, Ms. Kaplan, I am going to admit state 60JJ at this time. Is there any objection the defense wishes to raise?
Yes, Your Honor. Same objection.
The court admits it over objection. For the record, you may continue.
And I think that's the same exhibit that's in state 64AA, Judge. It's not necessary to have duplicates, but because of the way the evidence came out in this trial, that is present in state 64 as well.
States 64AA is admitted as far as the final record. If you wish to remove one, you may, but both are admitted for the record.
Thank you, Judge. All right. Is it fair to say that your mom, the defendant, is a controlling person?
I don't think my mom is a controlling person.
Did you say at one time back in 2013 that your mom operates with emotional subterfuge?
I may have said that.
Would you like to refresh your memory?
I can.
It's tab 45 in the binder in front of you.
I'm not seeing it. Is it highlighted or is it just in the, it's a long, oh, no.
Copyright. It's in the first paragraph on page 3.
Scott, why don't you just walk up and show the witness
I think that's
portion of what you
Marco.
wish for her to read to herself?
I will, Judge.
I understand his parents.
This is 3, I think.
Yeah, somewhere there.
I bet you $100 that Dan's mother believes that Wendy Adelson was part of this as well. That the whole family participated in this. The whole family knew about it. That's what I think. Look at her face. I mean, she never will see her child again. Well, I guess Donna won't either because she's over in prison. I guess Charles won't either. Okay, here we go. Sad. It's very sad.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So the question was, did you previously say your mom operates with emotional subterfuge?
Yes.
What is meant by that?
I honestly don't know what I meant at the time.
But not that she's controlling.
I don't think that's what I meant.
Did
Really? I think
Amber
it was
have
what
a
you
hard
meant.
time understanding some of your mom's behaviors?
I don't remember that.
Well, did she think you incapable of driving to South Florida by yourself with the kids? This is back when they were little.
Yeah, I don't think she thought I was incapable, but I was breastfeeding and it was helpful to have someone with me.
So what was her practice to avoid you having to do that?
One of my parents would come with me for the long drive.
So they would rent a car, come up here, ride back with you, and then follow the same procedure to get you home.
They would drive with me
Oh,
if I was
wow.
down there, back up, and then rent a car to come home.
That's extreme.
And did that procedure occur the week before the murder? There was a visit the week before the murder, correct?
I think it was 2 weeks before.
Okay. And on that trip, is that how it was handled, where they rented a car and came up to get you?
Yes.
Did your dad?
Now think about this. Her children were 4.5, and what did she say, 2 or 3? And her family is having to rent a car and go from South Florida to I guess to Tallahassee, and then get in the car with her and drive down to Tallahassee because they didn't think she could handle this by herself. And you don't consider that controlling and overbearing? Because I believe it is controlling and overbearing.
Think that was necessary, or was that a mom thing?
No, my dad probably thought it was more necessary.
Okay. And did your dad make a practice of supporting whatever your mom wanted? Is that kind of the general rule?
Yeah.
Was she the dominant force in the household?
I mean, I think my dad had more of a quiet strength, so it's hard to say who was a dominant force. I think they were both equally strong in their parenting.
Okay, did you previously describe this back in 2013 that your mom was the dominant force in the household? If you need to refresh, it's tab 97.
Okay.
I think she did say that.
So this one goes up to 93. Is it?
Check the very back. Extras tucked in half, so approach this comfortably.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes.
You did say mom was the dominant force in the household.
Yes.
Did your mom ever try to micromanage your life,
Yes.
your career?
I don't know about my career. I chose to be a lawyer. It wasn't a very popular choice in my household.
Yes, and there were different types of areas of law that she would have preferred you practice. Do you agree with that?
I actually think they were really proud of what I was doing.
Not to suggest she wasn't proud of you, but she was encouraging you to pursue a different type of law that would be more lucrative. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah.
And what about your dating life? Did she meddle there?
Yes.
Did she create a dating profile?
Even the prosecutor called her a meddling Meemaw. Right there, she did it. The meddling Meemaw. Yeah, that's funny.
For you on Match.com
I don't know if it was
my.
Match.com, but I do remember a dating profile at some point.
that she created for you
I didn't use it, but yes.
and conducted searches for men in the Miami area and sent them to you.
I think
Remember
this was
that?
when I was living.
Do you find that very strange that meddling Meemaw over there created a dating profile on one of the sites and then searched for men to hook her daughter up with? Do you find that strange? I do. I do find it strange. Here we go.
in DC.
Okay, let's go forward a little bit here.
Good God.
Sorry, we'll get there.
What was so bad about Dan Markell? I mean, really?
Okay, so here we have an email
Here's the
dated
law
January
professor.
17th, 2013. For the record, this is 64I. And it reads, so honey, so you think I'm nuts, but when you get a moment, check out some of these whom I've pre-screened for you. And these are guys in Miami, right? After all, you're going to be in Miami here and there. Why not see who's out there, right?
Yes.
Okay. And here's some options that she sent you. Here's an interesting guy, etc. Okay.
That's just too much.
Did you ever feel like your mom was walking all over you?
I don't remember feeling that way.
Okay. What about specifically regarding this divorce?
I don't. I mean, I had a really good attorney and I was making the decisions I wanted to make.
Okay. And did you, back in April of 2013, tell a friend that you were trying to find a way to coexist with your mom that didn't feel like she was trampling your autonomy?
I'm sure I said that in 2013.
How did your mom feel about Dan Markell in this time frame, 2012 to 2016?
And I think I think a lot changed between 2012 and 2016. So I think her feelings about him changed over time.
Okay. And what about in 2016? Did she hate Dan Markell?
No, not in 2016.
What about 2014? Did she hate him then?
No.
Did you say do you remember giving a law enforcement interview in reference to this case?
Yes, I remember.
That was the same day that Mr. Markell was shot, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did you say in that interview, for court and counsel, I'm referring to page 288, lines 24 through 289, line 1, quote, my parents have more reason to dislike Danny than almost anyone else?
At that point, I was sitting with law enforcement for 6 hours and had just been told that Danny had been shot. So I was in shock and I was trying to help the police think of anything I could possibly think of that would be helpful.
And are you suggesting that after 6 hours, you became fatigued to the point that you started saying things that weren't true?
No, I didn't say anything that wasn't true. I just was in shock. I just kept.
No, after 6 hours, she realized she's going to have to blame it on her family to get it off of her back, because she realized as the wife or the ex-wife, she was going to be the very first suspect. So she had to name some people that had a grudge against him worse than she did. And the only person she knew was her family. That's what I think. Here we go.
Talking and talking and talking.
When your mom is really upset about something, does she talk about it a lot?
Yes.
And when she talks about it a lot, and I'm referring you back to this time frame, does she talk to your brother Charlie specifically a lot?
My mom and Charlie have always talked a lot.
Okay. And was Charlie kind of like your mom's problem solver?
I don't know about that. I kind of feel like it was where she would help him more throughout childhood and adulthood. She would help him solve problems, not really.
She definitely did a lot for him, didn't she?
She did.
She helped him with his business. She helped him with his personal life, his finances, his bills, remember to pay the whatever. She was like still mothering him into adulthood, right?
Yes.
Okay. But as far as meddling in your life, did your mom feel that Charlie could make more progress with you than she could on items like who you were going to date?
I would just be guessing about that.
Okay. At the time of Dan Markel's murder, was the defendant, your mother, very angry at Dan Markel?
Before he died?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And you hated him too, right?
At certain points, I was very frustrated with him.
Did you refer to him as an STD?
What?
I don't remember saying that.
Tab 5.
She just people. Let me see something.
It looks like I made that analogy.
Danny is an STD. One wrong mistake, marrying him, and this will never go away. Is that what you said?
I did.
Did you share that kind of sentiment with your mother?
I don't remember ever saying that, so I don't think it's something I said very often.
And this was said in a...
So at 47 years old, which is, I believe, the age of Charles or Charlie when all this took place, his mother is still mothering him, still telling him when to pay bills, still controlling his life, just like meddling Meemaw was controlling Wendy's life. Exactly. That's what's happening here.
email on February 26th of 2013, correct?
It was.
Approximately 17 months before the murder?
Yes, I don't think it was an email though. It looks like it was sort of an iMessage.
Okay. Did you ever refer to your ex-husband as the Dark Lord?
I don't remember saying that, but I certainly might have.
Did you refer to your ex-husband as Jibbers?
I did.
What is the meaning of Jibbers?
Jibbers was just a silly name that a friend helped me come up with to basically make him feel less scary. It was nonsense.
Did it reference Jew in boots?
That I don't remember.
It wasn't a friendly name, right?
It was a silly name.
Did you ever say that you hated Dan Markel?
I don't remember saying it, but I certainly could have.
Tab 31, please, to refresh your memory.
Ooh.
I said that I hate him in this moment.
Okay, and did you say in that email, that same email, quote, I hate my children's dad?
I did.
And do you agree that email was sent approximately 15 months before Mr. Markel was murdered?
It was in April of 2013.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yes, ma'am. The approach with what I've marked as 56A, B, C, and 57. I asked you about the Jibbers nickname. Did you have that nickname stored in your cell phone as Dan Markel's contact name?
I did.
Or to show you these exhibits and ask if they're fair and accurate. Contacts, 56A, who is that a contact for? You know.
It's my mom's phone number. So that would have been, it's a picture of Ben as a little guy and my mom.
Okay, so fair and accurate contact
Yes.
on your phone for mom at that time.
Yes.
And then 56B,
That's my dad.
and that's his phone number.
You know, I bet she was using that nickname to talk about him and when the kids were around, so they would not know who she was talking about. So they would just use this other name over here that they'd made up about him. So the kids did not know who they were talking about. That just seems so mean, but you can see people doing that, right? You know, people do things like that all the time. I don't know. I mean, there's just no way that she didn't know. There's just no way because her mother and Charlie were into every single part of her life every single day, it seems like. It's like she couldn't even she couldn't even take the kids to the grandmother's house without one of them being with her. What kind of adult world was she living in? Because that seems to me extremely sheltered, extremely sheltered. I don't know. That's just wild.
It is.
I just don't understand.
That's my
really.
brother.
Charlie,
Yes.
fair and accurate phone number for him at that time.
Yes.
And then 57 is that the contact you had in there for your ex-husband, Dan Markell.
Yes.
Judge Adelson asked to move the evidence 56 and 57.
Any objection? States 56 and 57 are admitted at this time.
Did you ever refer to your ex-husband, Dan Markell, as an emotional terrorist?
I very well could have. I don't remember saying that, but
That one's on tab 34.
It's like she can't get away with it with saying anything because I don't know where they got all this information, but every single thing they could find to make her look guilty, I think they found it, other than her being in the discussion with Donna and Charlie. Good Lord. How's she sitting there so calm like that, knowing her mother's on trial for murdering or planning this murder of her ex-husband? I don't know how she's calm like that.
I'm so sorry. Is that? Yes, I believe it is.
it is.
34.
I see it. I said it in December of 2013.
Approximately 7 months before his murder.
Yes, approximately 7 months.
And tab 35 in June of 2014, did you say of your ex-husband, I hate him so?
I don't see it.
Are you on tab 35?
No, I was on tab 34. It's tab 35.
Sorry. Yes.
I did write that.
And that was approximately 3 weeks before Mr. Markell was murdered, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Damn.
Clicker. Clickers are a real problem for me. All right, next I want to ask you about Mr. Markell's response to your petition to relocate. Is it fair to say he was adamantly opposed to that motion?
Yes.
All right, and you all fought over things large, of course, but also very small, like in this pleading, a tennis racket is mentioned, right?
Yes.
And, oh, jumped ahead on us. Okay, let's go back. In Mr. Markell's response, for court and counsel, this is page 82 of Exhibit 60. He indicates the husband affirmatively alleges that the wife helped herself to non-marital assets, including money and stocks owned prior to marriage, as well as numerous personal non-marital belongings of the husband, such as luggage, bicycle, tennis racket, and family heirloom.
What's your temperature, Cinderella? How hot is it where you're at right now? I mean, we have a lot of rain, so it's not hot today, thank God, but it's just still sticky though, right? I don't know, this situation over here, there's just no way that I know I've said it a million times, there's no way that she didn't know. There's just no way. I mean, if somebody is meddling in your life so much, you're going to hear from them every day. They're going to be telling you something every day. They're going to be griping because they can't see the kids today because, they didn't allow this relocation. Because it's really the whole case is about him saying, no, you're not taking my children away from me and moving down to Miami from Tallahassee. That's what the whole case is about anyway. And I don't blame him. Really, I don't. I just don't. 93? Good Lord. Wait a minute. Did you say 93 but feels like 110? Let me see. Oh my God, Cinderella, that's hot. Good God, keep yourself cool. Oh my, that is super hot. I don't like that kind of weather. Mm-mm.
Did you take those
That's
things when
super
you
hot.
vacated the property?
I did remember taking his tennis racket by accident and I returned that, but otherwise I didn't take his belongings.
Did you strategize to leave him in a way that would cause or inflict maximum damage upon him?
No,
Is that something your
Really?
mom ever said,
I don't
to your
remember that.
knowledge? Did you discuss with your mom how and when you would leave your marriage?
I did.
Mhm.
Do you recall a November 2nd, 2012 email where Dan Markel was saying to you, let's put all this aside. This is all about the kids. Let's act toward each other in a way that they can be proud of. Did he say that to you?
I remember reading an
Pea
email like that.
gravel. Oh, well, Cinderella. Pea gravel.
Right. And we talked about
What y'all
the
making?
Aqua Ridge apartment, or I guess it was a home residence.
She absolutely planned this in a way that would hurt him because she knew that the only way she's going to be able to do this and get away with it is do it while he was on a trip, while he was gone someplace else, I guess for work. And she decided she absolutely did this to hurt him 100%. You're hauling pea gravel? What y'all do with pea gravel, Cinderella? They used to make oil field roads out of pea gravel. I don't know why I know that. I just do. Anyway. Oh, gosh. Yeah. I mean, she did everything. Wendy Adelson did everything she could to stab this man in the back, all the way down to her family taking him out. That's cruel.
Is this a fair and accurate photo? I've blurred your kids' faces, but of the living space there?
Thank you for doing that. Yes, that's our home.
Okay.
Mm.
And did your mom help you secure this place to live? Do you have any involvement in that?
She did.
Okay,
She
what
sure
involvement
did.
did she have?
She did everything.
She helped me move in.
Okay, did she help you locate the place to
Oh,
live?
landscaping.
I
Okay.
think so.
I love that.
Did she come up and look at places
Nice
with you as
idea.
well?
We did.
I bet it's gonna be nice, Cinderella. That's gonna look good.
Did Dan Markel threaten you in the pleadings with federal kidnapping charges?
He did.
And that was associated with the way he claimed that you left the marriage.
Yes.
And he says you took the kids and did not tell him where they were for several, I think I've seen days and weeks. Is that true?
It's true that he said that. It's not true that that's what happened.
What was his position on your motion to
Wait a minute.
relocate?
We did talk about it before I filed it, and he was amenable to figuring it out. But once I filed it, he was against it.
Okay. Did he allege in
See, I don't believe he was ever willing to talk about it. I do not believe he ever was. But I know why she's saying this, because she's trying to make it out like, well, he was just doing everything he could to make me feel bad, everything he could to attack me. But I don't think he would ever wanted his children to be moved that far away from him, ever. I wouldn't.
his response that the sole stated reason that you wanted to relocate was to be closer to your parents?
He did say that in his response.
Because it's true.
And is that the response that your mom referred to as his 23-page rant?
Probably.
She had a lot of thoughts about that particular filing, didn't she?
Yes.
Okay. And she laid those out in an email to you. I know you remember. That's the whole your non-negotiable is relocation.
Yes.
Look at something I would do.
Do you recall having 2 long mediations to try to resolve your divorce without a trial?
Yes.
And were those mediations successful?
They were not.
Was Mr. Markel seeking to depose your mother as part of the divorce proceedings?
I don't remember that.
What about your brother, Charlie? Did he care about whether you moved to South Florida or not?
I think so. I mean, I think he would have liked for me to be closer to him and have the kids closer to him.
Would it have been okay with him if you had made a decision to stay in Tallahassee?
I would have imagined so, yes.
And after the relocation motion was denied, you were kind of like, well, maybe I have to stay in Tallahassee. Wasn't there at least a moment of that for you?
I mean, it wasn't maybe, that was the court's decision, and I respect the court's decision.
I can
And,
get that. Hang on a minute.
you know, I would make the best of it.
What about Charlie? Was he outraged by the court's decision?
I honestly don't remember him being outraged.
But to your mom, it was a big deal.
My mom was really upset.
It was described by your mom in several places as like a life and death proposition. Do you agree with that?
So there is a Dan Markel case file, and I'm looking to see if we can find this 23-page rant that they're referring to, because now I would like to see what it says. All right? See if she does. Yeah. It makes me so upset when people use these kids as pawns. The man just, I know, you're right. And she absolutely, yes, the meddling Meemaw was using these children as pawns. I know she was. She was a hateful old biddy. That's what I say. But I'm going to see if I can find this 23-page rant while we listen to this. Hang on, because I found a whole case file.
Yeah, I think my mom thought my life in Tallahassee wasn't good.
Is it true that you never would have left Dan Markel without your mom's suggestions?
Objection, lady.
Overruled, she may answer the question based on her knowledge.
I would have left Danny regardless of anyone else's input. I was very unhappy.
Did you ever write that you would have never left him without your mom's suggestions?
I don't remember saying that.
Please refer to tab 41 and see if it refreshes your memory.
Okay, let me go back one page. All right, hang on a second.
I do say here I wouldn't have done it on my own.
I think I found it.
Do you specifically reference your mom?
I say my parents and brother's suggestions and support.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
I think because
Gosh,
I
look at all
wasn't
this
happy, but
information.
part of me thought maybe I would just stay until the kids grew up.
Okay, here's 1, 2, 3.
Just one moment, I've lost my place a little bit.
This is a 9-page thing.
All right, I think you already testified you did not offer your mom your divorce petition to edit. Is that your testimony?
Sorry,
Did you
What's the
send your
question?
divorce petition to your mother to assist you in editing it?
I don't remember doing it.
Okay, and did your mom also pretend to be you to Mercer University to help you complete your divorce affidavit?
I have no memory of that.
Got a little pop out here of this email from your mom. Obviously, I pretended to be you contacting these financial institutions. Is that something that you would normally do on your behalf? Pose as you?
I had very little understanding or involvement of my financial situation. And so that might have been an account that my dad had created for me or that had like co-signatory authority. So that's possible.
Okay.
That is so bad.
Or did you forward a letter?
That is so bad. I mean, if her mother was pretending to be her for financial records, what else has she done? Think about that, Cinderella. Think about that. Because I found this big old 9-page email over here from Donna Adelson to Wendi Adelson. I'm going to pull this up and we're going to look at it real quick. Let me change the screen over so you can see what I'm talking about. And I mean, just good Lord, my God, people. She just kept on and on. Here we go. Share the screen. Let's look at this. It's an email. And it's from Donna Adelson's, it's in the file case is what it's in. And this was from June 26th of 2013. Dear Wendy, since neither one of us feel up to talking, let me share with you what we're all feeling as far as your response. What we're all feeling, who is we, right? When I wrote to you this morning, we felt that you had reasonable thoughts as to what the judge might do or say and think regarding the charade we had hoped you would participate in. Wait a minute. Okay, what charade was she going to participate in? What charade? This is kind of telling. This is very telling. We're going to keep talking about it. Hang on. All right. However, the more we think about that, we began to realize that you and we have no idea what this judge will do or say or think. We would have thought after paying an attorney $600 per hour for 10 months, she would take an hour and a half of testimony, not even bother calling gibberish to the stand, and decide that family support for very young children evidently means nothing. And a job that pays 10 times what of unsecured, untenured, and dependent upon state budget cuts. What she was being paid in Tallahassee is what they're talking about. Does she care that after expenses, you'll save next to nothing at the end of the year? Does she care very little, if anything, will be put away for the children for their current and future educations? Does she care that curricular activities, sports trips, eating out in restaurants will always be a financial challenge for you to provide for the boys? Clearly, she does not take into consideration the future earnings potential and the benefit for your children. She didn't care that there's no backup support system when one of your preschoolers is sick. All she cared about was what the father hasn't been pulling out of it. Okay. All she cared about was if the father hasn't been pulling out of their toenails. This is kind of weird, okay? Their toenails, you should give up any financial betterment for you and your children and raise them in a place that you agreed to go to because Gibbers only had the FSU as a job offer. Of course, as a graduate of FSU Law School and native of Tallahassee, she sees nothing wrong with living there. Obviously, as a native of South Florida, you know better. Our point is that it's obvious that you and Kristen haven't figured out the judge so far. You were both shocked at the rapid decisions based on nothing that was presented. So how do you think at this point you can figure out what the judge will say regarding your decision to introduce Christianity into the boys' lives? People go to prison and change their religion all the time. People go through difficult times and find Jesus. Jesus was Jewish. Good Lord, hey, this is wild, guys. I've never seen this before. He had a positive teachings. He gives people hope. And best of all, you get to go to heaven in the end. Sounds good to me. Obviously, it will sound good to Judge Hobbs. So she goes to church. There were multiple donations from her church pastors and ministers on her financial contributions website. She's a Southern Black lady. How do you know it won't be music to her ears to hear this? Well, number one, children's faith should never be brought into this. This is terrible. I mean, what's Donna think? This is what Donna wrote to Wendy. That's where this comes from, and it's ridiculous. As far as losing the children to the Jewish holidays, there's a couple of alternatives to this. First of all, it may happen, but unlikely. He is entitled to half of the holidays, alternating those holidays each year with you. You may be interested in the teachings of Jesus. Okay, that's Gibbers has certainly run Judaism for you in the extreme way he practices. However, if the judge questions how much of the Jewish holidays you can have, you can explain that your parents and brother are Jewish and they will be coming to Tallahassee to spend those holidays, or half of that you're entitled to, or perhaps even 60% of that you're entitled to with the boys. Secondly, so what if by some crazy stance the judge says, okay, Gibbers can have all the Jewish holidays? Then if our bribe doesn't work, did you hear what she said? If our bribe doesn't work, and you don't think that Donna knew about this, because I think she damn sure did know about this. But we'll keep reading. Damn. Okay. Okay, so she goes. Go back to where she said bribe. Hang on just a second, guys. I got to find it again. Okay. Okay, holidays, anything. Then, if our bribe doesn't work, you can tell him during the year that you'll take the kids out of Sunday school at church and cancel their upcoming baptism if he shares those dates with you. If not, keep them there. Okay, do you hear what I just said? Using the kids right here, playing the kids' mind, playing the kids' hearts right here. This is what meddling Mima is doing right here, and it's cruel. It's very cruel. Third, since there is a separation of church and state, she'll just go by whatever schedule you are given and tell you to work any holiday arrangements between yourselves. Who declares which are legitimate holidays and which aren't? I'm not going to say that word. It's a Jewish word. Obviously, the court isn't out to help you. It's clear since Judge Hobbs' last ruling that she could care less about anything you had to say in your behalf. You need help. You need to help. She goes, you need to help yourself. You know, Wendy, most of the wars that have been fought for the last couple of 1,000 years have been over religion. Charlie brought up a good point when he said that Americans were dropped behind enemy lines during World War II wearing Nazi uniforms to get what they wanted. They had a job to get done, and they did what they needed to do to accomplish it. You have a job to get done in a very short time frame to accomplish it. If you dressed your kids up in Hitler Youth uniforms and brought them down here, I could care less if it was an act of defiance or would show gibbers that he's not in control. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible, the thing she's saying to Wendy. Damn. If your children are baptized, it doesn't make them Christians. Ben and Lincoln aren't really pirates because they are dressed up like Jake and the pirate. It's an act. You get into this mess with gibbers by being so compliant and non-confrontational with him. If you just keep paying your attorney for $600 per hour and don't fight for what you want, you're no better off than if you stayed married to him. Sure, you get rid of being unhappy in a marriage, so you don't have to live under the same roof. But he'll still be in control of everything, including what he wanted, sole control of the boys in their religious lives. Why let him? Why not stand up to this effery? Why not fight? We're not talking about a lifetime of this. You have the boys very limited number of days before mediation takes place. This is all part of an act. Please rethink this. We're willing to help you accomplish this. And that's all it is, Wendy. An act of defiance that will put a scare into this jackass. It will infuriate him. It won't infuriate the judge that you found Jesus. Wow. She can't comment on your religious views. You need to see the big picture. You need to look into the future and what a life without your only family nearby. Teaching in Tallahassee with Danny always in the picture will give you, it's not a pretty picture. We want to see you help yourself. Not everything one has to do in life is comfortable or easy. Sometimes it's ridiculously hard. But Gibbers has tried to aggravate and screw you since the day one of the divorce. His vicious emails, his defiance with Dr. Pam's directions on asking him not to come to the school every day when he doesn't have the boys. He's not allowing you to pick up the children 1 hour earlier to drive to Atlanta. He's bad-mouthing you to the faculty at the school that you'll be working at. Everything he's done is malicious. It's with intent. Why can't you do this for just a few days that you have the boys prior to the mediation? You know him. You know which buttons to push. He certainly knows how to push your buttons. Take something from him right now. He's got everything. He's got everything that he wants. We need to take something from him in order for him to negotiate back. This is yours. This is yours. What is she calling her? This is your chit. What does that mean? I don't know. The extremism that Gibbers is already teaching those boys, nothing more than brainwashing. Religion is brainwashing. It's control of the masses. It affects who your friends are, what activities you do, how you eat, how you dress, how you pray, everything. There is no doubt you will have two little Orthodox young men at your hands with only religious influence over them being Gibbers. He's already gotten them thinking that people who eat shrimp are bad. Hot dogs are disgusting and lobster is gross. Wait, Ben's not even 4 years old. Wait till he's 8. You're not teaching them anything different. You don't teach them that on Saturdays they can go to soccer or any regular organized sports activity or even swim lessons. You let them play in the park or in the house. Gibbers has an organized plan that he's been doing pretty much since they were born. Saturday morning that he has them, it's something every day. It's the word shul, I guess, shul. Shul every Saturday morning, that's what he has. Shul for every Sunday, that's what he has. Shul for every holiday, shul parties, shul. This will be later life. We don't want you to be the outsider who doesn't join in what the rest of the family is doing. Wendy, this is all about negotiating. After consulting with 2 attorneys who are both excellent negotiators, one of whom will most likely we will hire for a financial offer, we are getting the same advice. Must take something from him that he wants. When you intelligently negotiate in mediation, you pretend you want the house, even if you don't. You pretend you want the car, even if you don't. You pretend you want the ring, even if you don't. You pretend you want your kids in Catholic school, even if you don't. It's just the business of a clever negotiation. It's not what you or we are familiar with, but people in business do it all the time. Both attorneys have said that this is how you get what you want. If you can't take anything from him, then what we do is just the financial offer. Damn, this is bad. It's just not as good. And then look at this way. What's the downside? Worst case scenario, if the judge does give him the Jewish holidays, then after a short period of time, you offer him to take the kids out of Catholic school, Sunday school, if he shares the holidays, or have a stipulation that holidays need to be reviewed yearly. You have a smart lawyer. She knows this. She knows all of the stipulations and temporary arrangements can be made at a divorce. Wendy, you don't manipulate people. You're sweet, you're kind, you're a caring person. Jivers is a manipulator. You just need to play a role. What you're doing is just jockeying for position. In the end, if you do this and it doesn't get the results we're all hoping for, then you can't blame yourself. You can feel good that you did everything you could. I'm not saying that we're not going to continue with the hiring of an attorney to negotiate and make the financial offer. I don't think you realize the type of offer we're considering. We're planning on you, Charlie, and Dad and I going as high as equal parts of $1 million. That's $333,000 from each of us. Obviously, the more chits are on our side, the better our chances are, and we won't have to go that high. You have to show us that you're doing your part in this. Okay, now listen to this. Listen to this. They're going to bribe him with $1 million, okay, to let her take these kids and move to Tampa. And when he still said no, and the judge agreed with him, this is when Donna Adelson got mad, right here, because she did not get her way. Hang on a minute. This is just terrible. Obviously, the more chits, the better our chances are that we won't have to go that high. You have to show us that you're doing your part in this too. We are a team. We can't do this without your help. One of the possibilities in lieu of that much money, obviously we start lower, is offering not just taking them out of church, but negotiating a settlement which could possibly offer both boys private educations at the Donna Klein Hebrew Day School in Boca. It may include monthly airline tickets to South Florida for as long as he lives in Tallahassee. He may stop and think that if he can get a job in a city he prefers to live in, it would be an easy flight to see his children. He loves living in South Florida, teaching at his current schedule, and with a big chunk of money, he could live down here and for the 26 weeks per year that he teaches and fly 2 days a week to Tally. He would have frequent and liberal visitations. You're not looking to remove him from their lives. He needs to understand that. The negotiating lawyer will work with him. With his school teaching schedule, he could see his children here a significant amount of time. His child support would be much less. Also, the attorney who will be doing the negotiating will also lay it out on the line for him. Would the various payments offers would be worth to him 15 to 18 years when he may want to retire. The amount is huge. This payoff can put him to the point without any additional income of his own, and the $4 million range, certainly nothing he'd even save ever in 10 lifetimes. If you try this, you really will not be any worse off than if you were doing nothing. So what's preventing you from just trying? I don't know how much of the big picture you're seeing, honey. I don't know if you realize that not only what you can provide for your boys, but your own life all depends on this change. Aside from living in a far better city with family, a personal history there, you'll also have greater opportunities to meet people for your future. I'm sure there are many lovely women who are teachers, divorced, with 2 children. You're a highly successful, highly compensated attorney who's independent and not in need of someone to marry you to help support your 2 children. You can have someone cleaning your home, a nanny to help you with your children, a lifestyle in which you and your boys can travel. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to really turn your life around and make a positive difference in your life and the children's lives. Your expenses with the boys now are minimal. Wait till you see how expensive everything is in the future for them. We don't want you, and I wouldn't imagine you would want to live paycheck to paycheck. Teenagers eat more than just the yogurts that these boys are eating now. Everyone has a price. Now this is the time to start. You said this divorce is not about winning or losing. It's not about competition. You've already lost relocation according to the legal system. Well, it's about winning and losing. We're trying to get a win. You deserve it. You deserve so much more than a life without family teaching in Tallahassee. Life is tough. If you don't stand up and take a chance, you don't stand a chance. Please, Wendy, do your part. Stand up to him. Make an effort to do this so that our group, which is the family of 4 or 5, I think she has 2 brothers, and just 2 brothers, I think is what she has. Make an effort to do this so that our group offer will stand a better chance of being accepted. Don't let his temporary move to Tallahassee ruin your entire life. We all want the same thing, a better emotional and financial life for you and the boys all the way around. You know, Grandma was one tough, very smart lady. I think about her all the time, and I think about what advice this very intelligent woman, a wonderful reader of people who loved you more than words could ever express, would say to you. She'd tell you to fight with every bone in your body. Fight for yourself, your boys, and for the possible life you can have. You know that's true. Fight for yourself, Wendy. We'll be there to help you. Just don't tell us what you need to do now is move forward with a sense of peace. That's giving up. I don't believe that's really what you want. After all we've been through together, and when you're literally a few weeks from this being over, right? Okay. Now that is a 9-page email that Donna Adelson wrote to Wendy in this divorce proceedings. $1 million to $4 million. She wanted Wendy to lie to him and the courts in order to get her way. That is the kind of person that Donna Adelson is. Exactly, right? It is what the hell. I don't get that at all. Okay, so let's go back and listen some more. And you're going to tell me, and you're still going to tell me Wendy knew nothing about this. Bullshit. That's what I'm going to say, bullshit. Here we go. Let's turn it back on. Oh my God, it's just ridiculous. Okay, here we go. Look at her.
It was written on or sent to you on December 19th of 2013 from Dan Markel, where he was kind of wanting you back and making a lot of concessions. I'll stop coming home late, etc. Do you recall that long email? Did you forward that to your mother?
I very well may have.
And do you recall she replied with sort of a paragraph by paragraph breakdown of that, Dan Markel email?
So I see that here. I mean, I certainly didn't remember, but I see that there's a response here.
Okay. I think I've got her responses. Did you respond to her? Very nicely done, Mom. This is great.
It looks like I did, yes.
Okay. Then we go to Bill. In her responses, I guess they've got a joint email. So how do we know it's Mom and not Dad? Do we?
I don't.
Does Dad send responses like these? This is all the response. Would Harvey detail like that in a response?
No, but it could be that my dad and mom were talking and that she was the scribe, right? That they were, that it reflects both of their thoughts and that my mom's the one writing it.
And many of the emails are signed Mom and Dad, or they reference Dad and I feel this way. Was it common for your mom to express for the two of them a certain position?
Yes.
And in this particular email, so this is a little confusing, but she responds paragraph by paragraph, K3, K5, K6, referencing Dan Markel's email to you and refuting each paragraph. And she felt that his position was outrageous, right?
Yes.
And she thought his religious practices were extreme, didn't she?
She did, yes.
She was extremely concerned about the well-being of the children in reference to his religious practices.
Yes.
She wanted a psychological evaluation of Mr. Markel.
Yes.
You know why? Because Mr. Markel was really a practicing Jewish person. He was not just calling himself a Jewish person or saying that he was raised Jewish. He was really doing he was doing his religion. And that is why, oh my God, this is just terrible. Here's the thing. Knowing now what I know about reading that email right there from $1 to $4 million, that's bribery that they're calling it, I guarantee you that she knew that this happened. Whenever he never agreed to any of it, he was never going to agree to any of it. And then all of a sudden he comes up, deceased. Come on, don't lie to me. Don't lie to the court system. Everybody knows that you damn well knew. You knew your parents did, or you knew that Charlie and your mother or somebody in your group, as they call themselves, did this, Wendy. You knew it. You absolutely knew it. Okay, so I'm not going to show any more of this because that's all I needed to see was right there. Because I kind of went back and forth with, did she, didn't she, did she, didn't she? Well, now, of course she did. Of course she did. She will never get, I don't think she will ever get charged, but I think she should have been charged. But I don't think they have any way to prove that she knew when they were going to do it, just that she knew this idea had been tossed around amongst the family, and she never said anything to anybody. That's what I think she knows. That's what I think she knows. Okay, so we're going to get off of Donald Adelson, and we'll move on to something else. Now, let's talk about something else that's going over there in YouTube land today. Hang on a second. We'll get off of there and get rid of this Donna Adelson file. All right. Let's talk about all this new information that's came out about the Ciders family. Now, I really said I wasn't going to talk about it anymore, but I've been watching some other people and I've seen what they have to say and some other information that's come out. And I don't feel sorry for Elizabeth anymore. If there were, no, let me pull this up about the truancy. Hang on a second, guys, because this is what kind of shocked me right here. I need to go to YouTube again. Here we go. And Ciders truancy charges. We'll use somebody. So let's see who we're going to use. Okay. Bombshell. Law&crime. Let's see if it's about this one right here. Innocent proven guilty. What we know and what we don't know. So let's look into the house. I don't want to look at the pictures. Let's see. Go down here. Well, I need to put the. Okay. See if it's in. Let me see if it's in this one. I know somebody talked about this. Okay, hang on a second. No, I don't know who. I don't remember exactly if it's on this one or not on this one. Let's see. Hang on a second, guys. Well, here's what we're going to do. Let me do it this way. Okay, hang on. Okay, now watch. We're going to watch this. This is going to be from Crime Uncovered. So let me share the screen. Hang on a second. I'm going to share the screen and all that. Let me get this. It's called Crime Uncovered. Okay. Let me see. Hang on. Okay. I need to share I need to drop their link too. Hang on. Let me drop their link. Let me get the link to this channel as well, so we can do that. Share. Well, let me do it. I want to do this. We'll go to their page over here and do it this way. I just think that, let's see. How am I going to do this? How am I going to get this over here this way? I need to go to there we go. Crime Uncovered, and we'll pull this up. We'll share their link so everybody can go take a look. Copy. All right, now come back over here, and we're going to do this. Nobody stopped it. 15 years, brother breaks his thumb. We're going to talk about the brother who breaks his thumb. So hang on a minute. Let me drop their link over here so everybody can go to their channel and take a look. It's called Crime Uncovered. Here we go. Get rid of that part. Okay, just a second, please. One momento. Come on now. Get rid of these little extra digits in there. Okay, there. Now, and this is their channel. So I'm going to put it over here. We're going to put it on the screen. Okay, there you go. Crime Uncovered. Right there. Oh, it's not long enough to show it all, I think. It's not, I can't show it all. I can only show parts of it anyway. So there we go, Credit Crime Uncovered. So let's go ahead and start this playing. Let me make this big over here. And it is something about the brother one of the other family members starts talking about this. So I'm going to move over to that spot right there. Hang on a second. Okay. All right, go. Oh, I forgot to share the screen, stupid.
To follow today, because the Ciders case has been in the news for nearly 2 weeks now. You've heard the basic facts. You may have seen the footage from outside the property on Omer Road. You've heard from the attorneys. You've seen the 4 defendants' booking photos. And at this point, most people following this case have formed some kind of picture of who the 4 adults charged are and what their roles might have been. But Elizabeth Ciders is the one I think requires the most careful examination. Not because the charges against her are different. She faces the same charges as the others. But because the picture emerging around her is more complicated than a straightforward.
I forgot to do the fair use. Let me read our fair use and get that done too. I forgot to do it. I don't know why, but okay, let's get our fair use out here before we get going here, because we're going to use this information under fair use. So here we go. My fair use disclaimer, so we can read that. All right. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we need to take care of that right quick. And I also have something else I'm going to show you in just a few minutes. Okay, this content may contain copyrighted material, the use of which has not always been specifically authorized by the copyright owner. This material is used for the purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research, and is believed to constitute fair use under Section 107 of the Copyright Act. If you are the copyright owner and believe your work has been used improperly, please contact us. Thank you so much. Here we go. So under fair use, I'm going to show this and we're going to talk about this because a lot of people have mixed feelings about Elizabeth now. So many other things have came out, and I want to talk about her. Not the whole family, just her.
And the legal, ethical, and human questions it raises are ones that the courts will eventually have to work through in ways that have real implications for how cases like this one get prosecuted. So let me start with what's documented, what's in the public record, in the court filings, in the verified reporting. Elizabeth Ciders is 33 years old. She married Gary Ciders Jr., who is now 36, in Mason County, West Virginia, in March of 2008. The marriage license is public record. It was obtained by NewsNation local affiliate WOWC and has been cited in multiple verified news reports. At the time of the marriage, Elizabeth was 15 years old. Gary Ciders Jr. was 18. The marriage was made possible by the laws in West Virginia at the time, which permitted marriage at any age with parental consent. Her parents consented. I'm going to let that sit for a second before I add anything to it. 15 years old, marrying an 18-year-old. With her parents' permission. Former lead Susan Smith trial prosecutor Tommy Pope, speaking on NewsNation, said the circumstances surrounding that marriage stood out to him immediately. He described it as almost the worst of circumstances. Court records indicate she was already expecting their first child at the time of the marriage. Pope, it's worth noting, is not someone advocating for leniency in this case. He was asked directly whether any of Elizabeth's background constitutes a defense to the current charges she faces. His answer was careful. He said he's not sure it rises to a legal defense. But he said it changes how you think about the case strategically, including questions about whether defendants would be tried together or separately, and what the respective levels of culpability actually look like.
See, I think they'll be tried separately. All of them will be tried separately. And what I think is going to happen here, and it's really none of my business, and I know that the courts will make their own decisions, but I think that Gary Ciders Sr. will not be charged with anything. I think that he will just end up in an old folks home or something because he doesn't really know what's going on. Now, somebody came on and talked about this case last night, and there was a discussion that they did not always live together. In fact, that the situation got this bad only after they all started living together. And something about Gary Ciders Sr. had a stroke. I'm trying to remember the whole story that I listened to last night. There's so much information about this case that you can't even remember everything you've heard, right? You just can't. It's just too much. But all of this really started to turn bad when they all started living together. They did not live like this before. And the fact that the older children were being looked for truancy, for habitual truancy, and that Elizabeth Ciders and Gary Ciders, that's why they moved, okay? Because they couldn't be found to be served with the papers. So these charges were actually dropped. So a lot of people knew they had a lot of kids. So it was not new, really. It was not new. But here we go.
Like when you examine each person's situation individually. That's a former prosecutor speaking. Someone whose job, for years, was to hold people accountable. And he's saying that Elizabeth Ciders' circumstances warrant a different kind of examination.
Yeah.
Attorney Tamara Holder went further. She told NewsNation.
Leslie, so good to see you. Thanks for coming in. I didn't even announce it, really. I just jumped on it because I just wanted to talk today. You know, it was pouring down rain. I was bored. I was like, gosh, I want to do something. So here we are. Good to see you. But I really wasn't going to cover this case anymore. But then I thought today, I'm like, listen, I've changed my mind on Elizabeth. I don't think she's completely a victim anymore. She knew these kids needed to be in school. She participated in moving them where they were not in school and not taking them to school because she didn't want to get arrested for the truancy situation. She knew, she absolutely knew. Here we go. So good to see you.
That this case is, in her words, just another example of women and young people being neglected by the states and agencies that are responsible for protecting them. She described Elizabeth Ciders as someone who entered into circumstances without meaningful choice of her own. Now, forensic nurse Rachel Fisher offered the counterpoint that I think also needs to be part of this conversation. She acknowledged that it's possible Elizabeth was a victim in some sense, but she said, and this is important, that does not necessarily clear someone of accountability if others under their care were harmed. She used the phrase victim-offender overlap, the idea that someone can have been wronged in ways that are real and serious, and still bear responsibility for what happened to those under their care during the years that followed. That tension, between someone who may have had no real choice at the beginning and someone who now faces serious criminal charges, is at the center of everything complicated about Elizabeth Ciders' legal situation, and it's not a tension the court is going to resolve quickly. The current charges against her are 16 counts of felony child endangerment, classified as second-degree felony because they involve serious physical harm. She entered a not guilty plea on July 1st. She and the other 3 defendants, Gary Ciders Sr., Christina Ciders.
You know what else is weird? Remember, now there's a story out here about one of the women who had 2 of the kids said that the daughter said that the 2 girls, I think that she has 2 girls, said that their mother was pregnant again with another little girl. That they knew she was going to have another baby. So now you got to wonder, are they going to keep her in jail or are they going to let her bond get reduced? I don't care if she is pregnant. She needs to stay in jail. I don't care. Because there are pregnant people in jail all the time. People in jail people go have babies and they take that baby and it lives with a family member until these people get out of jail. It happens all the time. I don't think that she needs to be raising any child ever. So I know that people are going to say, oh, you're so mean. You're so mean. She's a victim. She's a victim. She's a victim to an extent. That's right. That is right. But she also knew exactly that she knew her kids were starving. She knew her kids needed to be in school. She knew her kids were dirty. She knew her kids were not getting bathed. She knew it all. Don't act like she didn't know. She did know.
Ciders and Gary Ciders Jr. all waived their preliminary hearings on July 7th, sending the case directly to a grand jury. No court date has been scheduled for the endangerment case. The grand jury is expected to convene at some point in mid-July, though Vinton County Prosecutor William Archer has said grand jury hearings occur every other month, and he hoped to have an update within 2 weeks. Her attorney, Tommy Stolley, said in court and to media that his client is crying and exhausted and focused only on those in her care. He has filed a motion seeking a reduction in her $300,000 bond, based on the argument that her circumstances deserve individual consideration. He is actively investigating whether Elizabeth could herself be considered a victim in these proceedings, not as a strategy to avoid accountability, but as a factual question about what her life actually looked like from the inside. And relatives of Elizabeth's family have said things that complicate the simple picture even further. Ronnie Fletcher, who identifies himself as an extended family member and uncle to those involved, used a specific phrase about Elizabeth when talking to News Nation. He said she came from a difficult home life before coming into the Ciders family. He said she escaped into the Ciders family.
Wait a minute. She came from a difficult home life before coming into the Ciders family. She escaped to the Ciders family. But now, remember, all the other Cider children that don't live there, the ones that don't live there, said they had a normal life. They were not raised in filth like this. They never lived like that. They don't understand what's going on. See, how does it make sense that you got that side saying this, and you have this side saying that, and even, I believe that even her side of the family, there's something on Facebook from her side of the family, we're talking about her not being raised like this either. So there's so many questions and no answers. Here, let's keep going.
That phrase, escaped into, means something. It means the environment she was leaving felt worse, or at least as difficult, as the environment she was entering. It means a 15-year-old made what felt like the best available choice from a set of options that probably didn't include anything recognizable as a good outcome. That's not a defense to anything, but it's a context. And context matters when you're trying to understand how situations like this one develop. The unidentified man who identified himself as Elizabeth's brother online said they were estranged for 15 years, that they had only recently reconnected, and that she had been, in his word, indoctrinated. 15 years. Think about what that covers. If she was married at 15 and they lost contact around that time or shortly after, 15 years of estrangement would bring us to approximately 2023, which means that for most of the time, the Ciders family was living in rural Ohio, moving from county to county, avoiding institutional records. Elizabeth's own family of origin had no contact with her. Whatever was happening in that household on Omer Road in Hamden, it was happening without any outside observation.
I found this, I'm going to read you this thing from Facebook, okay? So hold on a second. This is from Facebook, and I just pulled it up. And it says, the two photos you're looking at tell a story that no words can fully capture. The first is the last photo of Elizabeth Ciders' family had of her, taken when she was approximately 15 to 16 years old. A young blonde girl with her whole life ahead of her. The second is her mugshot, taken this week at 33 years old. 20 years separate those two images, and according to her family, those 20 years were a nightmare. Elizabeth's brother Joey has come forward with a detailed account of what he alleges happened to his sister. And even if a fraction of it's accurate, Elizabeth Ciders may be as much a victim in this case as the 16 children inside that home. Now, according to Joey, Elizabeth was allegedly targeted and groomed by the entire Ciders family beginning at age 13. Her first pregnancy alleged occurred at 13 years old. The first child allegedly does not belong to Gary Ciders Jr., but Joey alleges the remaining children do. Now, let me ask you a question. This is a very serious question. If the first child does not belong to Gary Ciders Jr., then how is the whole Ciders family grooming her at age 13? Please tell me that, because it doesn't seem like that would be right. It would be like somebody else was grooming her, whoever the father is of this first baby. But we're going to keep reading. Here we go. Oh boy. Now, when Elizabeth was 15, her mother was presented with paperwork to sign emancipating her daughter. When she refused, the family allegedly threatened to leave the state and she would never find Elizabeth again. And here's where it gets even more calculated. Ohio would not allow the emancipation of a 15-year-old. So they took Elizabeth across the state lines to West Virginia, where the paperwork was signed under alleged duress, legally serving any claim her family had to bring her home. It was severing any claim. Now, let me ask you another. I got a question. I just have questions over here on this. How is the mother of, listen, Elizabeth's mother did not have to sign that paperwork. She never had to sign that paperwork, because if she would have ran off with them, they would be harboring a runaway. That's a different charge. Her mother was not under duress to sign that document. I think somebody's trying to make out like their family is innocent and didn't have nothing to do with this. I disagree. Let's go over here and look again. So after that, she was gone. Joey alleges that for the next 20 years, Elizabeth was essentially locked up and forced to have children. He says that she allegedly had been 21 and 20. He says she allegedly had between 21 and 22 children total over that period. There are allegations that one set of twins did not survive. We already know that. Now, Junior's sister, Linda, allegedly kept Elizabeth's family up to date on the general whereabouts over the years, but never once disclosed what was allegedly happening inside that home. Family members believe that Christina Lynn Ciders, the Gary Ciders Sr.'s wife, and is the true mastermind behind everything, that she orchestrated and manipulated the entire situation from the beginning. The children found inside that home, ranging from 1 to 18, allegedly could not speak, and the oldest, okay, we know that already. They had been confined. We already know all that. Now, let's see. Let me go to there's another little story over here on this. Hang on a second, guys. From Facebook. I'm trying to find the latest one from the family's updates. Let's see. Relatives speak out. Let me see what this one says. Okay, when was this? Okay. Oh, here's one. Let me see what this one says. The latest chilling crime against the children of the United States of America came to light on Wednesday, July the 1st, after children were discovered living in this 12 by 12 foot room surrounded by human waste. It appears the children, which are aged 18 months to 18 years, have lived in this condition for the most of the past 4 years. So see, they did not always live that way. It was when they moved to this other house, which was 4 years ago, when this became such a problem, okay? It was not always like this. So, 2 were in such severe state upon discovery that they were flown to hospitals where one is still in critical condition. The children's parents and 2 grandparents, okay, we know this, have been, Ohio Attorney General Andy Wilson says, conditions you cannot even imagine people being in, let alone children being in. It was just terrible. They look like almost feral animals. You know, he should have never said that. He should really have not, he should have used different language, right? Now, Tessie Ciders, a relative of the family, has revealed that she hasn't seen the family in 8 years. I knew little Gary had kids. I don't remember meeting any of the kids, though. This is what she told NBC. I knew they had a lot of kids, though. The family was talking years ago, but there was no way I thought that they had that many kids. She also revealed that she had only met the mother of the children once. Police and locals were unaware the children existed and that none had been enrolled in schools, and they were only discovered by chance. Now, Wilson said the family was pretty good at hiding these kids after reportedly moving around Ohio before settling in Benton County 4 years ago. Some of these children could, okay, but see, this is not exactly true. The reason why this is not exactly true is because some of these children were in school. Before they moved this last time, the children that were older were in school. So you can't say that they couldn't read and write. Now, one may be a little, just disabled a little bit, may have some problems, but it's not that they were not taught ever, because some of them were taught. So that's not exactly true, right? Let's keep on going over here and look at this other one. I'm trying to find the latest Facebook post, if I can find anything from today. Hang on a second, that's July the 7th. Let me see if there's anything. Let me see for today. See if anything's new, other than the fact that we know there's a gag order for Gary Jr., and there should be a gag order for him. Absolutely, there should be, because they should have never said those things. So let me see if there's anything from today over here. Hang on a second, guys. July the 2nd, July the 1st, July the 7-9. No, there's not. Okay, we'll let this keep playing for right now.
Not from neighbors, who said they rarely, if ever, saw people coming and going. Not from schools, because enrollment records for those living in that home were not found. Not from medical systems, based on what investigators have described. And not from Elizabeth's own family, who were 15 years out of contact and only recently reconnecting when all of this came to light. That is a long time for something to go unseen. Let me step back from Elizabeth specifically for a moment and talk about what the investigation itself has revealed about the scope of what authorities are dealing with, because the case has expanded significantly since the initial arrests. Former Vinton County Prosecutor Aaron Payne, speaking on 10 TV, said that investigators are almost certainly still gathering evidence. He noted that the Ciders family had been in Vinton County for approximately 4 years, but that some of those involved had traveled to other counties in Ohio and possibly out of state. That means the investigation isn't limited to Hamden. It's reaching into other jurisdictions, other counties in Ohio, potentially other states. Authorities believe the family has been moving across Ohio since at least 2008, which is the year Gary Ciders Jr. and Elizabeth married in West Virginia. Payne said that in a case of this scope, the county will likely need assistance from the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, because Vinton County's own resources simply aren't built to handle an investigation that crosses county and potentially state lines. That assistance appears to be in place. The BCI, the Ohio Attorney General's Office, and other agencies have all been publicly confirmed as involved. The Ohio Attorney General's Office issued a statement characterizing the case as involving what they described as prolonged and extreme interfamilial neglect, which is a legal characterization. They were also clear that this case is not believed to involve human trafficking, which was a question some in the public.
We know all that. We do know all that. But, I just think that there's so much of this that, yes, a lot of it was covered up. Yes, a lot of it was. We know that, right? We do know that. But a lot of it was not covered up. There was people in town that saw these people. They went to the food pantries, they went to the diaper pantries, they were getting formula, they were going to the dollar store, sometimes the kids would be with them. They were going different places in town and they would be seen. So it's not like nobody knew. Now the people on the street might not have known, but there were people in town that did know. And they discovered every one of these children were born in a hospital. So they all have actual birth certificates. And when you have children in a hospital, what do they ask you? How many live births have you had? Did you get any prenatal care? And it's also been said that some of these people actually got, I think, food assistance, food stamps, I think. I think it was Gary Sr. and Celeste or Lynn or Christina actually got food stamps, but I don't think they got any assistance for any of the children, which seems kind of strange. But the reason why they couldn't do that is because if they got assistance for the children, then everybody would know the conditions they were living in. And so they would have been arrested way back when. They must have known that at some point somebody was going to knock on that door and that they were going to get arrested for this situation. No, don't do that. I can't imagine. See, for me, I don't care where you came from. I don't care what you've done before. If you have children and you know that you are not bathing them and you are not making them food and you are not taking care of them, you know you're doing the wrong thing. Because Elizabeth is not intellectually challenged at all. She's not. She knows better. She knows better. So don't sit here and act like she's just a victim. No, I don't think she is just a victim. She has some victim in her because yes, I understand they moved to this house over here and that they were all living in this little house and for some reason I don't know why Gary Jr. never had a job. So when they were not living with the grandparents, where were they living? How were they taking care of the kids before? How were they taking care of these kids when these kids were actually enrolled in school before? What was going on? And why did Gary Jr. only have a job at, delivering food, DoorDash? What was going on there? It's kind of crazy, right? Leslie says, she's not a victim. Oh, good, Leslie. I'm glad you agree with me because I know a lot of people look at me like, what do you mean she's not a victim? Look what happened to her. They're keeping her there. No, there's talk about these kids having cell phones, having Facebook, those kind of things. And when that happens, they have a way to contact people. Cinderella says, yeah, if she's not feeding them, then the babies, right, they wouldn't be okay either. Right. It just makes no sense to sit here and claim that she's just a victim. But I understand her attorney doing that. I understand her attorney trying to gain sympathy immediately to keep her from not being the main person charged. But every one of them, well, I don't think Gary Sr. is going to end up being charged again because he's got dementia and all these other things. But the rest of them knew. I mean, look, somebody was eating food. And we also heard statements about, oh, well, they would order pizza, so pizza would be delivered there. But the babies couldn't eat pizza. I mean, what the hell's going on over here, right? It's just too much. It's just too much to sit there and claim this. Let me see what I've got here. Somebody just sent me something. Let me check it out and see what it is. I think it's on this case. No, real by real perspective. What is this? Hang on, guys. Let me see this. I want to play this. I don't know what this is. Hang on. Let me see what it is. Is it about this? Casey Anthony. Oh, no, we don't want to talk about Casey Anthony right now. We're talking about something else. But yeah, I mean, here's the other thing. If they had no water, okay, they had young children, they were going to get formula and these kind of things. If they had no water, were they washing bottles? What was going on? And they were getting money from other relatives to pay the water bill with. Did they have water or did they not have water? Something is kind of strange about that. And remember the other day, some people snuck in. Now, this is what's wild. Some people snuck into that house the other day, and they should not have done that. And it made the DA mad because he's like, y'all stay out of that. It's a crime scene. We don't need people in that house. They put the tape up and all that. Let me go see if I can, hang on. We're going to switch screens real quick. Hang on. I'm going to go off of this and we're going to go find the one where they snuck in the house. Hang on. Let's see. I don't remember whose it was on. Just a minute. Okay. I'm not going to show all the pictures, but I just want to show you something. Pictures from inside the Ciders house. Where these people snuck in there. I'm like, oh boy, don't they know that's against the law, right? Okay, new videos from the conditions. I'm not using hers. Let's see. A rare 3D, let's see. Baby born. No, that's not right. I don't want to use that one. There's some people that I'm not going to play, and some people that will play. But yeah, some people I won't. New photos. Now this is going to be from, let's see. Who's this guy? Class E. Let's take a look at Class E. We're only going to look at part of his, not all of his. So let me give full credit to Class E. Just a second, and then we'll pull that up, okay? Hang on just a second. Now, this is another channel on YouTube. I need to share his link. Let me get the link to his channel. Okay, we're going to go get this one. In just a second.
All right, there we go.
Let me get his channel. Okay, I want to share the link. I want to make sure I do that. For these people, when we use their work, we need to do the right thing and share their link. Here we go. Come on now. All right, we go over here, Class E. Okay, good. And let me get his link so I can put his link in here. Not that one, that's the wrong one. Look, it took me to my friends, and it took me to the wrong one. It's funny. 4 more links. Here we go. Let's get his link in so we can share. Okay. Copy. Okay, let's copy it. Come on now, let me copy this. What is it doing? It's trying to take the whole thing now. You silly thing. All right, I just want to get this on here. Okay, there we go. Copy. All right, now we go back over here. I'm gonna drop his channel, and then we'll go ahead and look at this. So hang on just a second here. Okay, gotta get rid of all that. Hang on. And we're gonna just take a look at it. We're not gonna look at the whole thing, but I'm gonna show you something where these people were sneaking into this house, and I'm like, people, this is an active case. You got to quit doing these kind of things. I know you're nosy. I know you want to see, but showing us these pictures over and over is not going to change one thing about this. It's still going to be the same, right? So hold on a second. I was kind of like, oh boy, y'all need to quit this mess. All right, we get off of there and we'll go back. I think it's right here. Let's go back over here. I got to get the right one. I don't want to show the wrong one, because I was trying to get his channel name so I could drop his channel links for him, and it took me to something else. I'm like, no. Now hang on.
All right, there we go. We should be back.
I'm gonna go past over here. We're gonna go over here. Now, watch carefully.
Oh my gosh. There's
It's
one
not very
bed.
big, but this is it. This is these people snuck in there.
May
and
have
took
been
this-
more. It's hard to
Oh,
tell from this
no.
video.
Mm-mm.
Again, walls falling apart. And it looks like there was even a crawl space under one
There was a
of
crawl space.
the lower walls in that area as well.
Mm.
And then you've got this video from outside of the home as well.
That's the door.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's the door.
Crazy.
You can see it looks like
I
there
don't think
is
anybody
a
mowed the
basement
yard
to
either.
this home. That looks
that
to be a
little door right
door or a window.
So let me tell you something else that I found over here that kind of shocked me a little bit. I was listening to somebody else's channel, and they were talking about, well, the walls were all tore up, the sheetrock was all tore up, and these kind of things. And then somebody started mentioning, hungry people will eat anything. Hungry kids will eat anything. There's kids that have eaten stuffings out of pillows. There's kids that eat sheetrock. There's kids that have been peeling the paint and eating it, because they were hungry. That scared the hell out of me. And I thought, oh no, please don't tell me that y'all think that these kids could have been picking at this sheetrock, because all the sheetrock was torn up in this house. It was not really there anymore. And I thought, oh no, please don't let that be what happened there, because that would really break my heart, right? Well, I'm gonna watch this for just a minute. Hang on.
I'm not crossing the police tape here, so I can't get
Don't
closer.
cross the police tape.
And you could actually see where the children's room or the bedroom
Here we go.
into what we're going to talk about next.
Here.
There's a lot of speculation.
Hang on just a second. Let me get over here.
Made it to the pool party after he was
No,
at
no,
Horn
hang on,
Island.
Hang on, not that one. Hang on just a second.
He's at a Dollar
Oops, there we
General
go.
who had come into contact with members of the Ciders family. They said the family mostly came in at night and would buy items such as chips and diapers. Employees recalled that they sometimes didn't have enough money and appeared to have poor hygiene, but noticed that this was not uncommon given the area's poverty. Really? Out of the 700 and something people there,
And they were all
I can't
impoverished.
imagine that many of them would be poor. But hey, again,
Well, that it is a very poor county. It is a very poor county. And you're right, Leslie. Oh, Gary Jr. did not look like he was starving. And then you got to think about, okay, so these babies that went to the hospital that were so sick, the ones that went to the hospital, you got to ask yourself, what was wrong with them? I know that there was rats and roaches and everything you can imagine living inside that house with those kids. They were trapped in that room. But what we don't know is we don't know if these kids were always in that room, or if these kids were just found in that room because people came to the house and they could have said, y'all get in the room, y'all get in the room. We don't know, right? So you got to imagine, that those children could have been bit by rats, they could bit by whatever the hell was it, spiders, everything you can imagine in that house. But I just question, I know they did not have the facilities to cook for these children. What the hell were they feeding the children? I just can't stand it. The thought that, and again, let me get off of here for a second. Then again, you have people saying, well, okay, they were feeding these children and this is something I had said too, because I wasn't sure, but I'm thinking it might have been true. I am not sure. Let's look at this one. Let me go back down here and see if I can find another one. Just a second. Let's see. This one right here is a very good one. Now, this is criminally obsessed. Hang on a minute. We're going to share the screen for her in just a minute. let me share a different screen. Now, criminally obsessed had the little girl that worked at the dollar store. And I felt so sorry for her because she took it so personal that she did not do something. And I'm thinking to myself, honey, what could you have done? Right? So let me put this stop right there. Stop right there. I'm going to take it back. Okay. And so let me take it back where this begins because it's so sad how so this is the channel is criminally obsessed. Here we go. Oh, I got to share my screen. Got to share. All right. I need to get this criminally assessed.
Ariel, I just want to say thank you so much for coming forward and talking to me today. I know it's a hard time for you, and it's a hard time for your whole community when something this tragic happens, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a disbelief.
Ariel, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I moved to Hampton, Ohio about 4 years ago. I started working at the local store around here 2 years ago. I am a mother of 6 altogether.
Can you describe Hampton for me? Tell me what it's like to live in Hampton.
Hampton is a very quiet, very small community. It really is. We don't have no stoplights in Hampton.
Wow.
Most people just pass through it just to go to the next town, or to go to the lake around here because there is a lake, or to go fishing. I mean, it's very country. It's very country.
Look at
Tell me, where do you work or where have
interesting
you been
information.
working?
Let's put a stop.
I work at the
about Hampton, Ohio. Hampton, Ohio. The poverty rate data. Now, this is the true stats about this community. Okay, so get down here. In Hampton, Ohio, the residents below the poverty level in 2024 was 21.4% below the poverty level, and the whole state of Ohio is 12.7%. Residents with income below 50% of the poverty level in 2024 in Hampton, Ohio was 9.8%. The whole state is only 6.4%. The poverty rate among the disabled residents is 26.9%, but the whole state of Ohio is 21.8%. Disability rates in this village among the poor residents is 31.2% in Hampton, Ohio. For the entire state, it's 25.1%. So residents below the poverty level in this little village that they're talking about, Hampton, is they're saying it's 64.1% among the poor and not poor residents below the poverty level. I mean, I don't know if being poor means below the poverty level or just, I don't know. But anyway, above the poverty level is only 14.4%. So that's some pretty tough stats for those. I mean, these people have a really hard time in that little town because of the poverty level. They do. So, I mean, listen, you can be poor and be clean. There's no reason to be poor and be dirty. It doesn't work that way. And the thing is, they all knew better. I'm so sick of hearing the victim. The children are the victims. Period.
Dollar store around here.
Period.
You were working behind, like in the cash register, right? You're working at the store. I want you to take me through sort of your when you saw the Ciders and who you saw. We'll just kind of take it step by step.
So, like I said, I started working at the dollar store for about 2 years ago. When I first saw them was my first day, and Elizabeth and Gary Jr., and it was in the evening at night, around 9:45. It was always close to closing. They would come in there and buy these 2 main items were always there. It was a jug of water and oil, but it wasn't like the big thing of oil. It was like a little oil, decent size oil, the little kind. And occasionally there'll be sugar, other items, and once in a blue moon, not all the time, it would be diapers. But I didn't think anything of it. The reason why, when we first saw them, or when I first saw them, a couple of employees did help, like buy hygiene and stuff, which
I just want to send this girl right here. I just want to send her a thank you. She tried, and she's beating herself up because she says she didn't reach out and make a call to anybody. I don't think that she knew she needed to make a call to anybody. I don't think she realized just how would she know? It's not her fault, and she just feels so guilty about it, and I feel guilty for her. Sad, really. She should not feel guilty.
out of our own pocket, of course, help them with the hygiene, help them with bags of clothes, because this is a poor community. So, we want to help. I don't have no reason to judge them if they're struggling. Here's what I can do to help. Here's what we can do to help. But once we started to notice that the items weren't being used at all, that's when we kind of took a step back and was like, okay, well, maybe they took it as an insult of us trying to help them.
How do you know they weren't used?
They were still in the same clothes for months, had holes, dirt, filth. You could tell they didn't take showers. You could tell like the deodorant wasn't being used.
How often were they coming into the store, Ariel?
I want to say every time I worked, I seen them, and I worked anywhere from 3 to 4 days. And on my days off, like I said, this is the only, store around here. So I live close to the store too on my days off. And when I went in to go buy items, I seen them late at night. Like I wasn't working, but I did still see them there. They were my regulars. I expected to see them before closing, if that makes any sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, Ariel, it sounds like you probably had the most communication with these people out of possibly anyone. How far away, as far as how far away is the Dollar General?
Hang on a second. I got a question, and I know you got to wonder, okay, he worked for DoorDash, right? Now, if there's a lot of poverty in that town. How many people were actually doing DoorDash in that little town? Right? And then you got to wonder, when he's doing DoorDash and he's going to get out of the car and he's going to give them stuff, are they noticing that he hasn't odor or anything? I mean, are they noticing that he's dirty? What about that part? I mean, if a DoorDash driver got out of the car and they were going to hand me something and they were disgusting, I'd be like, no, that's okay. You keep it. You keep it. I don't need it that bad. I don't think I would take it because I'd be like, okay, something's weird here. I just wouldn't feel comfortable taking it from them, right? I don't know.
From where this house was, where the 16 children were discovered. Do you know?
It's like a 2-minute car ride from the store. So I want to say 5 blocks, maybe 6.
Okay, it's really close.
Yes, very close, very close. Yes.
Did you see them walking or did you see them driving?
I seen them driving. I have saw them walk a couple times, but like I said, I never saw them with kids, but only twice in the 2 years. I never saw them with the older Christina and Gary Sr. I never saw them 4 together. So when I saw their faces on the mugs.
We know that the senior Gary over here was very able to walk, and that he's had dementia, and they have ordered a competency hearing for him, and they should have. Thank God they did. I do believe that there's some things wrong with Christina as well, and I bet you they're going to order a competency hearing for her as well. I bet they do. I mean, they haven't done it yet, but I think they probably will, because if the older 2 never went to the store, it was only these 2. That tells you something, right? It tells you a little something. Here we go.
Shots. I was just like, what?
Right.
They're all together. They're related. Like, I didn't think they were together, because the older couple, when I did see them, and it wasn't all the time, it was a handful of times, they were clean. They were dressed nice. They didn't stink. They didn't have an odor. And when I saw Gary and Elizabeth, let's just say I would have to Lysol before they came in, Lysol while they were in the store, and Lysol while they left the store. That's how bad the odor was. I didn't know that they had kids with them. Like I said earlier, I did see the kids twice in 2 years. and they came into the store. And when I saw them, they mimicked their mother. So they looked pale. They were very thin. They had their hair over their head. And I honestly, personally thought they were visiting, my personal opinion, because I never saw them with kids. So when I saw them twice, I didn't know they had 16 kids, period. I thought she had 5 because of the 4 I saw, and then when she was pregnant, which I never saw the baby at all after the pregnancy. So I thought they were visiting. They came over because when they went into the store, she would ask them, what would you like to buy? Or what would you like? They would point. She said, go ahead and go get it. And then they will get soda, chips, or whatever they got and checked it out. Now, did they eat it? I don't know. Did they consume it?
You know, I have some other questions here. Now, just hang on with me and bear with me here a minute. Now, you're pregnant, you go into labor, right? You go to the hospital. Let's talk about the trip to the hospital. You get to the hospital, and they're like, oh, you're in active labor. Are you clean? Are you dirty? I mean, what the hell? I mean, how are you going to the hospital like this and they don't say anything? Because you know they will. Because if the hospital noticed that they were like this, coming in there going, having this baby, you know, both Gary and Elizabeth, they would have said, you would think that they would say something about, hey, I know they have other children because we delivered their other children. She had a child here last year, and you know, how many children she had at that one hospital. Because there's only so many hospitals to go have babies at, right? I know they're not traveling to another state to go have these babies. So you got to wonder, did the hospital not notice that there was something wrong with those two when they would come in and have these babies? I got questions about that. And why did they never say anything? I mean, I know that people, when they have babies, there's a lot of medical information that they get from you when you're having a baby. Especially, did you have prenatal care? I mean, is it just a doctor on call delivering these babies? What's going on there? Did they have Medicaid to pay for these babies? I just got a lot of questions about this. It's not making any sense. It's just not. Okay.
I don't know. I just know I checked it out and they walked out the store with it.
How old do you
It's
think
weird.
they were?
It's just weird.
Can you kind of give
So
me
there
that?
was 4. I don't know if they were the same set of 4, but I do know that at least 2 teenagers and then 2 younger than teens. So like 4, 5, 6, anywhere around that age, but at least 2, like teenagers and 2 young ones. When I did see her with her kids, they didn't really smell as bad as I saw them every day, if that made any sense. So the kids did smell clean. I'm not saying they stunk or any of that because I've only saw them twice. Elizabeth wasn't really allowed to talk to anybody in the store when Gary would walk her around. He would give her 3 or 4 kisses, and the only person she'll talk to would be me. He'll give her 3 or 4 kisses and walk out the store, and she'll come to the register. And
Okay.
and he did the same thing, except
Now, yes, that does sound abusive. Yes, that does sound control. Yes, it does. But again, if you at one point you had cell phones and they said they found Facebook accounts for some of these kids, you had a way to contact somebody, and you knew you were living like this. You knew your children were hungry. You knew it was like this. No, I don't want to hear victim anymore. No. At any point, she could have called and said, hey, this is above me. I can't handle it anymore. My children are starving. We're living in this hellhole. Then let's talk about the other problems that came up here. You know, they talk about, well, he had these indecency charges. That's a misdemeanor. It's not a felony. There is something else that's going on, and other people have started talking about whatever this other thing was. And now, according to one of the news reports that I heard was 5 or 6 weeks before they went out there to serve him with this warrant. When they found these kids, they went to serve him with this warrant on this other situation. Now, when this first started, I heard something, and I don't know if it's true or not true, I don't know. But I heard something about they found items that were stolen from some job site on his person or in his car. It's somewhere had to do with Gary Ciders Jr. That's something I had heard. Now, I need to find it again and show it. But right now, let's watch this really quick. Hang on.
he walked outside with and the kids will stay in the
I
store.
need
And
to
like I
find
said,
that
she'll ask
toy.
them, what would you like? And they'll get it. And they proceed to check out.
So Elizabeth wasn't allowed to talk?
To me, it seemed that way. Like I never saw her spoke to anybody, but besides the person behind the register, which is either me or one of my coworkers.
And what do you mean he gave her 3 or 4 kisses? Is that what you said?
Yes. So every time before she came to the register when they were done shopping, he would give her like 3 or 4 kisses on the lips, and then he'll walk out and she'll come to the register. I thought it was weird, but then I was just like, whatever, that's just them. That's just them. You know, like whatever. Gary Jr., I didn't hear him really talk. He really didn't even talk to me much.
He ain't missed a meal one, folks. He ain't missed a meal one. He's nice and fat. Look at him. What the hell? And this is, I will never understand this ever. How in the world are you going to eat food in front of your child and not give them some? Is that what's going on there? Was he eating at work? I mean, how did he stay so fat and plump and everybody else was starving? Please tell me how that happened. I'd like to know.
Oh, it was mainly me and Elizabeth's interaction, mainly because she was the one that was paying for.
She doesn't look that thin. She doesn't look fat and plump like he does, but she doesn't look malnourished right there either, does she? No, she doesn't. Some part of the story is just, something is just missing. Well, a lot of the story is missing. We know that, but here we go.
For the items.
And when you saw Elizabeth, when she looked at you, describe to me what you saw in those eyes. What did you see?
There was nothing there. There was nothing. You could tell it was a body. That was it. Like you could tell like she wanted the help, but I don't think she knew how to ask for the help, nor did I ask the right questions for her. I did ask her, how are you doing? And she'll, good, I got to pay for this. But she spoke very, very, very soft all the time. Never hard, never very like emotional. It was very, very soft.
And I'm sure you're seeing the reports too that some of these kids couldn't talk. They couldn't communicate. That's what we're being told by the first responders that rescued them. What did you witness?
Well, with the kids, like I said, I didn't hear them speak either. I did not. When she asked them a question, they would nod and point and then just come and got their stuff.
It's so interesting. I mean, as far
if a stranger's coming to your house and they're saying, hey, we're putting you in the car, I can understand a child not saying a word to them. I do. I can understand them being scared and not saying anything. But that does not mean they can't talk, does it? No. Maybe they could talk but didn't want to talk because they were afraid to talk to these people because they don't know them. It's strangers putting them in a car and taking them away from taking them away from their mother, their brothers and sisters, taking them all out of there. You think fear could have kept them from talking? It could have. But we don't know if it's true that some of them actually could not talk. Maybe they did not want to talk. I don't know. I'm just wondering because, we're not going to have the facts because they're not going to release anything. They're going to steal everything. Here. It's interesting though.
As the children, did you witness any malnourishment? Was there anything that you were seeing that was raising red flags with I guess you only saw 4 or 5 of the 16 kids?
The only red flag now that I see, and I was like, okay, Ariel, you probably should have said something, was how thin and how very pale they were. Other than them being shy and not wanting to talk to anybody and blocking out the world with their hair. Other than that, no, they were very thin, just like their mom. Very pale, just like their mom. She didn't look like she carried 16 kids.
When you say hair, do you mean like they were literally covering up their face?
Yes. Cover their face with their hair. Like with the teenagers, you could tell like they had hair and they would have it covered. I never saw them never saw the kids' eyes, but I physically seen the kids there.
What was Gary Sr. and Christina? You said that they would come in and they looked different than this.
Christina and Gary Sr., they looked very clean. Like I said, I didn't think they knew each other. I didn't put those two puzzles together every day that I seen.
Wow.
I honestly thought Elizabeth and Gary Jr. lived alone. I thought, like, I thought the kids were visiting. I honestly thought Children's Services took the baby after she was pregnant because I saw her through her whole pregnancy, but never saw the baby.
Did it feel like anybody was in control of that situation? Did it feel like Gary Jr. or Elizabeth? Yeah.
I felt like my personal opinion, I feel like Gary Jr. was in control of the whole situation, honestly. I don't want to say she's a victim, but it really,
There was something going on.
in all reality, this was the first red flag. I should have questioned it. The way he would walk around the store with her, he would hold her by her elbow and just guide her around the store. And it was, like I said, I didn't know if, she needed the help or not, but it was just weird, if that makes sense.
When you interacted with them, did you feel fear from them? Did you feel sadness from them?
Not fear. I didn't feel like she was in fear. You could tell that they both really loved each other.
Listen, she's saying, oh, they both really loved each other, and she didn't think she was afraid of him, but he's guiding her around by the elbow. I mean, see, it is very weird. I will say it's very weird. Could there be some abuse by him? Yes, there could have been. But still, she didn't grow up in a situation like that. She did not. So I don't understand why she wasn't calling somebody for her kids ever.
I mean, you could see that, but it wasn't.
It's just ridiculous.
It wasn't like fear. It was more like, if I spoke up and said something or say anything, I'm probably gonna get.
Yeah. Leslie, you don't think? I don't think she should beat herself up. No, she should not, because she didn't really know, right? And then where's the Social Security and food stamps? Really? Grandma and Grandpa they got the Social Security, but you got to wonder, how much was the rent? Were they using the Social Security to pay the rent and the other bills that might have been at that house? I don't know. Who controlled the money? That's what we need to know that. And they just drop off. They just drop off here. And I know what you mean. Oh, yeah, you know what I mean about that. It just seems weird that somebody had to be in control of the money. Somebody had to be in control of everything. And we know Gary Sr. was not in control of anything. We don't know about Christina, and we do know Gary Jr. could have been in control of a lot of things, right? I mean, I know. Listen, when I heard Gary Jr. talk, I thought I heard like he had some kind of a speech impediment or something. That's what I thought I was hearing. But that doesn't keep somebody from knowing how to live. Think about that. Here you go.
Get in trouble, and I don't want to be in trouble.
You're not.
Did other people in the community, did they comment, like if they saw them in the store with them? Did you ever hear about the community reaching out to them on any level?
No, they really kept to themselves. So I really did not know much, but besides what I seen and when I interacted with them at the store, I don't know if anybody else have tried to help them out. I don't know if the neighbors try to help them out. I do know the neighbors said they didn't see anything, which to me is like a red flag because, well, if I saw him at the store, I know you guys had to have seen him at least get in the car or at least walk outside.
All right. Here's what I think, and this is what makes no sense, really. Okay, they're talking about Gary Jr. and indecent exposure. I think he was just peeing off the porch like any. That's what I think it was, and I don't know who saw him, but I am wondering if somebody came up to that house for some reason, turn off the water, something that was going on with that house, some service, something, and saw him doing that and just reported him, and that's why he was reported. Because remember, all of those happened in a very quick, in just a few days. It all happened in just a few days. So somebody was coming out there for some reason. And that's when they saw him doing that. But they didn't see the kids. They didn't see the kids then, right? They didn't see the kids. No, I don't know. Wow.
Something.
When was the last time you saw them?
The last time I saw Gary Jr. and Elizabeth was the night before they got arrested. So they got arrested last Tuesday, so last Monday. And it was at same timing, 9:45, right before closing, water and oil. couple other little items, and went about the business like every day, like normal.
The oil, Ariel, what are they doing with all that oil?
I asked myself that question after the first week I was worked there. I was like, you guys must be eating a lot of fried food, eating potatoes. I don't know. Like, I don't know. They're not buying food to fry, but you have this oil. So I just assumed either that or sometimes they did have like noodles. So like, of course, I'd be like, okay, the oil for the noodles, whatever. But
I know I've been reading about it and I'm trying to understand
it too. I don't really know much about this, but let me ask this. I need to find out. When you go to the food pantry and they give you a box of food, they ask how many people in the household you're feeding. I assume that they ask that, right? So they'll know what kind of foods to give you. But they don't give you frozen food, do they? Do they give you fresh vegetables, canned vegetables, things that won't spoil? So we know they were not cooking or deep frying any kind of frozen food in some kind of oil, and that's why they were buying all this oil. We know that wasn't the case. So really, what was it? Now, on other shows, we've talked about this a little bit, where people say, "Oh, well, in countries where the children are starving, there's problems with that. They would make a mix of sugar, oil, and water, and it's really a high-calorie drink to help to get some calories into these kids." But you got to think, I'm not going to say that's what they were doing. I thought maybe that's what they were doing with it, but I don't know what they're doing with it. But I don't think they're deep frying a bunch of food, because where would they get the food to deep fry? And I didn't see anything in that house that could be, something is just weird. What were they feeding these kids? What were they all eating? Because Christina looks healthy. Gary Sr. just looks like an elderly man, like they usually look. Gary Jr. looks healthy. What's going on? Damn.
Honestly, from a nutrition perspective, vegetable oil is something that has been used in countries to feed people who are starving. Yeah. And Ariel, you're a mom. When you hear that there are 16 children, 7 of them have been rushed to the hospital, 2 of them are in trauma centers, 1 of them is still in critical condition, I just learned from a report from the sheriff. How does that hit you?
It's really hard.
That was a mean question.
Because
I wish that she wouldn't have asked her that question, because this is when she starts feeling really bad, because she feels like she didn't do the right thing, when really, none of it's her fault. And I don't want her to ever feel bad. And I know she does. And that's sad. I wonder if anybody's doing something for her. There's another part to this that we're going to talk about in just a minute. I think I touched on this the other day. We were having a little discussion about this the other day, and it was about these people rushing out to make these GoFundMes and all of these financial help for all of them. And it's like, that's kind of an issue too, that really, that doesn't need to happen. They need to let the state do their job. If you want to make a fund, contact the state. Don't do it amongst just people, because that opens the door for some grift to happen, and the people don't end up with the money. You don't want that to happen, especially to these kids. It's terrible. Here you go.
I guess I could have, asked the right questions. I could have done something. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine putting my kids. I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine anybody putting their kids in, just.
What the hell is that?
As a mom, my question to her is, how can you let this go on for so long? How can you let this be okay? How did you not look up and be like, I want better for my children. My children deserve better.
Thank you.
They need better. And as a mom, I don't understand. I don't.
And when we talked about doing this interview, Ariel, you told me this is for the kids. Like, we have got to get information out about these children. Why did you want to speak up right now about what you saw?
Well, the reason why I wanted to speak up was because when the story first broke out, everybody kept saying they didn't see anything. They didn't see any kids. They didn't see any kids.
Yes, they did.
I'm sorry, but I did. I saw the kids, and I didn't know they were living there. And to the children, I am very sorry that I didn't ask the question. I'm very sorry that I kept my mouth shut. I should have investigated more, but I did not know you were there. And I apologize. I really do apologize. And I'm sorry. And I know you're going to get all the help. I know God is on your side. God will help you. I'm sorry. I seen you, but I didn't know you were there. I'm sorry.
You know, when I listen to that part of the interview, that's what kind of breaks my heart, because this girl, she, none, I know she feels guilty, and I really wish she didn't feel guilty. I'm going to turn that off right now. Hang on a minute. Let me turn off some of these things because I can't stay on much longer. But you know, for everywhere we see this, just this house, in every other state, in every other city, in every other county, there is something equal or worse than this. It's out there. This is not the only house of horrors. We just don't know about them yet. Sadly. I hope that, you know what I hope happens? I hope that people keep up with the story and they watch the story and they think about this. And the next time you see something really strange, or you think there's something going on, go ahead and make that phone call. Pick up that phone and call somebody. Even if it comes out that it's not true, that there's not something going on, it just kind of looked that way, but it wasn't true, it's okay. Because if you can save one child, one family, one person from having to live in these kind of conditions for not getting the help they need because nobody opened their mouth. Because, you know, as we know, a lot of people just mind their own business. They don't think about anything outside their own little world. So they just mind their own business. I don't want to get involved. I'm going to turn my head. I don't want to get involved. Nope. I'm staying out of it, right? You hear that all the time. But maybe we should get involved. That's what I think. What do you think? You know, let me see. Yeah, just curious, what timeline did this employee work? Okay, so at the dollar store. Well, she worked there for the past couple of years. They lived there for 4 years, but the little girl that worked at the dollar store, she only worked there the last 2 years. So that's how she met these kids. And so, yeah, see something, say something. Even if you're wrong, still do it, because you could save somebody. My hair looks like shit today, but I don't care. You could save somebody. It's okay to be a little bit nosy when there's children involved. I mean, that's pretty much how I feel about it. When there's children involved, I don't care, say something. And I'll tell you one thing, it's hard. Well, even when these kids go to school, think about this, and I know these kids are not in school, but you know there are kids in school that the teachers send food home with, the teachers send clothes home with, the teachers help take care of these kids because they know these kids are not getting help at home. The school will make that call. The school will try to get help for these families, right? You know, the school, like our school system, is open the whole summer. They're open because they feed kids lunch every single day. They're open all the time. They feed these kids lunch every single day. And I do not live in a poor community. This is a very affluent area here in Leander, Texas. But they still do it because they do know there is still people who need that little bit of help every single day. So they stay open and feed the kids. And I mean, and I know not every school district can do that, but at least the kids know that they can get a meal at their school every day. But you know, I just really hope the story helps people think and stop and say, I'm going to say something. I'm not going to ignore it. If I see the same child dirty for 3 or 4 days in a row, I'm calling somebody. I'm doing something. I'm going to go check it out. I'm not going to leave it alone. That's what I hope happens out of this. You know, yes, these kids need help, and they're going to be traumatized their entire life. There is no amount of money that's ever going to be able to fix these kids over there. This is a lifelong problem that's been created. So, and I think that Gary Jr. and I think that Elizabeth need to be in prison for the rest of their life for this, because there is no victim. You see your children are hungry. You see your children are dirty. You know what you should have done. You know what you should have done. You had access to phones. You could have done something. Gary's out there door dashing. You could have walked down to that store and said, hey, can I borrow your phone? I need to call 911. My children are starving. I need help. That's all she had to do. She did know. So at that, I'm going to leave this alone. We're going to call it a day. Thank you for stopping by. You know, I really wasn't going to talk about this. I was just going to talk about whatever. But then I was watching a little bit of the Adelsons, and I'm thinking now, Wendi Adelson, she's not a victim. Wendi Adelson knew that this was going to happen. She needs to quit that line. They need to do something about Wendi Adelson. But I don't think they will, because they don't have any speck of proof that they can use to put her in prison. But I think she did know about it. That's why I wanted to watch that for a little bit. I did, you know. Let's see. After my little glasses on. Oh no. I've personally never seen her there, but maybe oh my God, do you live in that little town, Tracy 7200? Do you live in that little town? If you do, please let me know. I would love to have a conversation with you if you would like to talk about it. Because if you live in that little town, you would be someone that would have more information than we would ever have about that area. So let me see if she answers. Yeah. I mean, well, remember they were going into that store at 9:45 p.m. So I would think that the girl worked the late shifts all the time. It's the reason why she would see them. Like she knew they were just regular customers. That's what I think was happening there. Let's see what Tracy 7200 has to say. Yeah. Tracy 7200, if you live in that little town and you would like to come up and talk about this, we can definitely go live again tomorrow, and you can talk all you want about it and tell us what you know, what you think, and how these people were not noticed in your little town. If you would like to, that would be just fine. That'd be great. Actually, I'd love to hear your story. I would love to hear your story about what you know about this. Anyway, we've been on here, how long have we been on here? Oh my God, 2 hours and some odd minutes. I didn't really go that long. Y'all know that. But anyway, I'm going to get off of here today. Please come back and see us. And I always say, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me just tell you this, guys. Okay. I've been doing this for what? I don't know how long. I've got about 1,200, I think 1,100, 1,200 videos. Still have not monetized this channel. And the reason why is because I need some watch hours. So if you don't mind, please share these and let people come watch and listen, see if they like what we're doing over here so I can get my watch hours together. For some reason, I don't know why, it just kind of dropped off a little bit because, I didn't really want to, I don't really want to do true crime. I didn't want to do missing children. There's so many things I did not want to do because I just didn't want to be involved in all that, right? But anyway, yeah. I'm local. Oh, she lives 15 minutes away. So, okay, Tracy 7200 lives 15 minutes away. Tracy, can you go out? Can you get my email? Let me go to my channel. Let me pull up my email and I'm going to drop it in here. And would you please email me so we can arrange for you to come and talk to us? Because I would love to hear your take on what's going on over here and how it affects where you live being 15 minutes away. Because it's not just one area. I mean, that's a whole area. So let me get my own email address if I can find it. This is weird, but hang on a minute. I have to go to YouTube to pull it up. I don't really remember it. Okay. Let me go to YouTube. I'm gonna pull up my email address and we'll put it drop it in the chat right there. So here we go. Just a second, guys. Thank you so much. Let's see. View my channel. It's going down here. Okay. More. Here we go. And here we go. Let me get this right here. I'm gonna drop it in there. Hang on. Shit. I can never get this to just go and get only that. It just wants to try to pull up everything else. Copy. All right. Here we go. Now, I'm going to drop this over here and we're going to, for my email address, please email me so we can arrange to get together for you to come onto our show and talk to us and tell us how you feel and how it's affecting where you live, because being so close, I know this is affecting everybody. I know it is. It's a major story. It's a major problem. And I know everybody's looking at each other like, how did nobody know? How did nobody know? How did nobody? Well, people did know, but they didn't know to the extent is what they're saying. So here we go. So this is my email address right here. I'll put it up here. Anytime anybody, this is my YouTube channel. Oh, I didn't mean to get that. I was going to tell you email address. Hello, stupid. Let me get my email address. Damn, I forgot what I was doing, y'all. Just bear with me. All right, here it is. View my email address. Okay, let me get this right here. Hang on, guys. Sorry. Damn. Y'all just got to bear with me for a minute. Here we go. Let me get this. Copy. Yes. All right, now. Let me put it in here. I'm going to drop my email address. You see, I'm all excited. I'm like, oh, boy, somebody that lives close. I would love to have a conversation with that person and let them come talk to us about what it's like in that area, totally. Yeah, here we go. Let me get this over to you. And then I'm going to have to get off of here because it's almost 5 o'clock. And y'all know I'm an old-fashioned mom. I don't have any children at home anymore. My youngest child's in college right now, but I do have dinner ready for my husband. He walks in the door and all that. Just old-fashioned mom. That's what I've always been. So here, let me put my email up there. So this is my email. Please email me if you want to come live with me. I'll be happy to accommodate your schedule, whatever that may be. We can go live whenever you need to. We'll just talk about what's going on there and how it's affecting the whole town. With that, I'm going to say, give y'all a chance to write that down. I'm going to say, hey, take care of yourselves out there. Be careful out there. What I always say every time I get out there, I say, go hug your babies, because life is short. Our time with our children is shorter. And the one thing you don't want to have is a missed opportunity. Don't do that to yourself. Just don't do that. Anyway, I'm going to say goodnight, goodbye. Hey, guys, hit that thumbs up on your way in, your way out. Please like, subscribe, and share. And give me some watch hours. Come on. I need y'all to watch this. I need y'all to watch this. Thank you. Bye, guys. Have a good evening. Thanks again.